Coors Light Gridiron Cooler Box. 18 16-ounce bottles that hold the same amount of beer as a case. And those big bottles are clad in plastic, so the Coors Light inside stays Rocky Mountain cold. Just ice it up, take it out, and enjoy. The Coors Light Gridiron Cooler Box. Ready to go, ready to play.
Dad?
Hey, buddy.
Could you read me a story? Football.
That's okay. I can freeze time.
Whoa.
The DirecTV DVR, the most magical thing that ever happened to TV. Finally, an easy-to-use DVR that gives you the power to pause and rewind live TV, so you'll never miss a second of what's important to you.
Somebody up there loves you. DirecTV.
Sign up and get a DirecTV DVR free. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
It's a fact. The more we learn about how to take care of ourselves and our families, the longer and healthier our lives become. That's why more people turn to WebMD than any other health information source. It's a place where people find answers to health questions with an ease never before possible, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can finally forge a link between better information and better health. WebMD.
Awesome titanium armor. Killer robot friends. Mind-blowing weapons. And a serious set of problems. Ratchet Deadlocked, a battle arena not fit for this world. Rated T for Teen.
There are 206 bones in the human body.
Blood trauma to the skull.
For Dr. Temperance Brennan,
She wasn't killed where she was found.
any one of them can help solve a murder.
We don't just have a killer on our hands. We have a cannibal.
The new hit Bones returns Tuesday, November 1st on Fox.
The one and only Ford Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 40.
It's a beautiful 60-degree afternoon in Landover, Maryland, as Fox Sports welcomes you to FedEx Field. Two longtime NFC rivals get together, the San Francisco 49ers and the Washington Redskins. Good afternoon and welcome to the NFL on Fox. I'm Kenny Albert. I'll be joined by Daryl Johnston and Tony Saragusa. The Washington Redskins look to get back in the win column. They won their first 3 games this season, but lost their last 2, both on the road in Denver and in Kansas City. Today they take on a 1-4 San Francisco 49ers club. Alex Smith, the first overall draft pick out of Utah, will make his second NFL start, Daryl, as the 49ers rebuild under their new head coach, Mike Nolan.
Now, Mike Nolan is trying to reestablish the San Francisco 49ers as a model franchise in the NFL, and it's going to be a ground-up restoration. But he challenged his players earlier this spring by saying they could win the NFC West. Now, that may have been a lofty goal, but he did not want to come in and send the message about just being competitive. He really feels with the talent and the work ethic that they've established that the San Francisco 49ers can win any game when they take the field. But that will be a difficult task for them this afternoon. The Washington Redskins are very excited to be playing against Alex Smith and only his second start. Over the last 4 weeks, they have faced veteran quarterbacks whose experience has allowed them to audible at the line of scrimmage and create plays that have really turned the tide against the Washington Redskins. And they feel that Alex Smith is nowhere near that point at this stage of his career. Another reason the Redskins are excited, their secondary is back. Their starting secondary will be playing for the first time this season. And another reason they're excited is there's one other person who's going to be in uniform on the field this afternoon, and Tony Saragusa has more on that.
You're absolutely right, Moose. This is LaVar Arrington. This is a facet that the San Francisco 49ers have not seen. He is capable of making huge plays on defense. Maybe this is the reason that they might be able to turn around and get some of those balls that they've been getting out but haven't been going and getting the big turnovers for. He's gained a lot of confidence from both Greg Williams and Greg Blanche. That's the reason why he's playing this week. They said he's done nothing but act like a pro all week. That's why you'll see him on the field.
Thanks, Tony. It's the Redskins and the 49ers. The opening kickoff is next.
watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV.
IBM presents In the Pocket, a look at today's best quarterback matchups. Brett Favre faces Dante Culpepper today in Minnesota. Favre has thrown 12 touchdown passes in his last 4 games, while Culpepper has thrown for 16 touchdowns and no picks in his last 5 games against the Packers.
Some will get the dirty jobs. Others will lead a more leisurely life.
All you want to do is use me.
Still others will save lives. At GMC, we can't be certain how you'll use our trucks and SUVs, so we engineer them all to the highest standard, professional grade.
All you want to do is use me.
It's the NFL Big Man Dance Challenge, team competition. This week, the Kansas City Chiefs bring an all-star lineup to the big dance floor.
This ain't dancing with the stars.
Their opponent, none other than the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Our moves are so tight, we'll be dancing all night. Word!
It's the Chiefs against the champs. When Kansas City collides with New England on NFL Big Man Dance Challenge.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. For a free team catalog, call 877-NFL-SHOP.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
So when does everything have to be shipped to New York? Wednesday. Yeah, this is big for our company. I mean, this is like our Super Bowl.
You know, I was in a few Super Bowl games, but as I recall, it didn't have anything to do with sending a package. You should just go with FedEx Ground. It's reliable and a great value.
FedEx Ground. Reliability for less than you think.
I'm number one. I'm number one. I'm number one. I'm number one.
Okay, so you shave early, but your date isn't until 7 p.m. So what do you think your beard's doing? Taking a nap? It's not. That's why there's Schick Quattro Midnight. With 4 blades, nothing shaves closer, keeping you smooth into the night. Schick Quattro Midnight. Nothing beats the power of 4. And try the new Schick Quattro Power for a less irritating shave than your current razor. New Schick Quattro Power. Turn on the power of 4.
Ooh, that likes. That like. Ooh, that likes.
So you better take Daddy over to Best Buy.
Welcome back to FedEx Field. The 3-2 Washington Redskins take on the 1-4 San Francisco 49ers. Alex Smith getting ready to make his second National Football League start. The 49ers have won the toss. 43, Maurice Hicks. 89, Rasheed Marshall. Back deep for the 49ers. Nick Novak filling in for the injured John Hall. We'll get things started for the Redskins.
Yeah, Redskins just excited to be back home. They've played consecutive road games out in Denver, out in Kansas City. They're about to enter a tough stretch in their schedule the next 3 weeks. So this is an important game for the Skins here at home against the 49er team in transition with Mike Nolan trying to turn his franchise around, but also some key injuries to this group. So they have been challenged in more than one way. So we'll see how the Redskins respond to this opportunity this afternoon.
Redskins have won both of their home games, 9-7 over Chicago, and a 3-point victory over Seattle in overtime. Redskins' 3 wins have been by a combined total of 6 points, and their 2 losses by a total of just 9.
I really felt I was more impressed with the Redskins in their 2 losses than their 3 victories.
Novak gets things started. We are underway as Maurice Hicks takes it out from the 4. Across the 25. Taken down at the 30 by former 49er Pearson Prelo. A 26-yard return. The numbers for Alex Smith in his first career start 2 weeks ago against the Colts.
Not great numbers, but invaluable experience. And he has been in touch with Peyton Manning, and Peyton told him, hey, the only way that you're going to be successful as a quarterback in the NFL is getting on the field. And I think that Alex really understands what he's saying. There's things that you're going to see. The plays are not going to come up clean like they do in practice. There's subtle adjustments during the course of the game that you won't see on film. You won't see it on the practice field. You've got to be on the field during the game.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line as the ball came loose and is recovered back at the 25 by Kevin Barlow.
An inauspicious start for Alex Smith. They get some pressure right into his face. He's going to come off the left side. Just running a little play action. Sean Springs gets there. There's pressure up the middle by Ronaldo Wynn. That's what this defense needs to do. They need to get to the quarterback. That ball just simply fell out of Alex Smith's hands. It wasn't the hit that forced it out. And here's the player that everybody's been waiting for here at DC, LaVar Arrington, earning his way onto the field this afternoon.
He has not played on defense in the last 2 games. Empty backfield on 2nd and 15. That pass off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Trent Smith. So a 3rd and 15 coming up.
So we'll go out and check out how LaVar Arrington does on his first play this afternoon. Quaim Harris, good job getting him to the ground. And it's going to take time for LaVar. He's very athletic. But because he hasn't been on the field a lot, it's going to take him a while to get back into the flow. We talk about game conditioning, game experience. We talked about it for Alex Smith, but LaVar Arrington will also have to face that because he's only had 18 snaps on the defense this season.
Now 3rd down and 15 for Smith and the 49ers. Again, incomplete that time, looking for veteran Johnny Morton.
Well, you know, there's no turnover. That's the one positive thing you can say about that series. Very fortunate to get the ball back on that first play. Greg Williams, he's excited. They got to get out. They have to force some 3-and-outs. They've got to find a way to get to the quarterback. One of the reasons they don't have turnovers is because they're not getting pressure on the quarterback.
Redskins have not forced a turnover in the last 4 games. Andy Lee, 2nd-year punter from his own 14. Santana Moss in single safety for the Redskins from the 33. Good field position for Washington on their opening possession. 42-yard punt, 6 on the return. Mark Brunell back-to-back 300-yard games in Denver and KC.
Yeah, I really agree with what Jimmy Johnson said last week after watching his performance, at the halftime of the Kansas City Redskin game. And he paid compliments to Joe Gibbs because when Mark Brunell was brought in, nobody liked the decision. When Mark Brunell played last year, they weren't happy with it. They wanted a transition to Patrick Ramsey. And he waited his turn, he bought his time, and he's come out, and he's back to the Mark Brunell that we remember from the Jacksonville era when they were going to championship games.
Ramsey started the first game. This is Brunell's 5th start. Clinton Portis in the backfield and takes the handoff from Brunell and bursts out to the 48-yard line. Gain of 9 before he was finally tackled by Brandon Moore.
Well, one other guy that everybody in Washington is talking about is Santana Moss, and he has added a feature here with this offense that didn't exist last year. The big play threat down the field. He's impressed me. I have seen him make plays that I didn't think he was that type of player. But the dimension that Santana Moss has brought to this offense has been very impressive. Another great job by bringing him in as a free agent in the offseason.
We were also impressed with his speed last week, Moose. This guy's got not only the moves, but the speed to get downfield and break it open.
Portis into 49ers territory. a gain of 2. 49ers ranked last in the league defensively, but they did a good job on Marvin Harrison in their last game.
Well, they've been making improvement. The first 3 weeks of the season, they were very, very poor in the secondary, giving up huge chunks of yards. But the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 games, they have played better. And 2 weeks ago, before their bye against the Colts, you saw the performance that they had there against Marvin Harrison, who is one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL.
2 tight ends, 2nd down and 8. Brunell going deep, and the catch is made. Down the sidelines, another big play from Brunell to Moss, 43 yards.
Every week, it is just a feature every week in this offense. He's on the outside, it's a simple go route. Oh, he's on the inside on the slide, it's a flat and go. But look at the coverage. Shante Spencer is in pretty good coverage. He never turns around to pick up the ball. Mark Brunell has just dropped these balls right down the stovepipe into the laps of Santana Moss on these throws. If you even go back to the Dallas game, some of these catches down the field, there are defenders right there to make the play. It's been a matter of inches for the success they've had throwing the ball down the field.
His 5th reception of over 40 yards this season. Here's Portis, who does not have a rushing touchdown this year. And Clinton gains 4 down to the San Francisco 2-yard line.
Yeah, I might just run the football here on the next 2 downs and just get off the snide. You see, they haven't scored a touchdown on their opening possession, but you know, Clinton Portis is about to have the longest streak of his career without a rushing touchdown. It starts to weigh on you as an offensive group. They've gotten into the red zone, and they haven't been able to run the ball effectively.
Second and goal, Portis. And he stops short. Mike Adams coming up from the free safety spot. So 3rd and goal coming up for the Redskins, who have scored only 7 first-quarter points in their 5 games.
Hey, Tony, the other option there is that if you run the ball the next 2 times, you might be kicking a field goal, though, too, huh?
Yeah, they got a lot of guys in the box right down here on the line of scrimmage. Everybody's looking in the backfield to see exactly what they're going to go. And the Redskins' offensive line is really showing run, so they're going to play action maybe on this play.
San Francisco's defensive line, one of the things you always talk about is penetration. They got good penetration there. I'm not a big fan of pulling offensive linemen when you get down to this part of the field. That's what happened on that last play.
3rd and goal, Brunell. Mike Sellers, touchdown.
There's the play action, Moose.
The fullback, Mike Sellers, scores his 3rd touchdown in the last 4 games.
The forgotten man in the offense, the fullback. Tony called it. You see it, you know, you're show and run. You've got everything there. Heavy run. He does a good job of avoiding the end man on the line of scrimmage. 96, Andre Carter gets out into the flat clean.
Nick Novak adds the point after. So the Redskins march 61 yards on their opening drive and lead by 7.
Well, well. Looks like it's double credit time. Only at Southwest.com. Just go to Southwest.com to book an everyday low fare and earn double Rapid Rewards credit. And it's only when you fly by November 17th.
You are now free to move about the country.
Who are those guys?
Oh, that's our network. It's the most reliable. Comes with the phone.
Do I, like, owe you?
No, we're good.
Cool. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. And now America's most reliable wireless network has cool Samsung camera phones for just $49.99. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
For your many sons. The all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus.
Fox Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Redskins have gone out on top early on a 2-yard touchdown pass from Mark Brunell to Mike Sellers. Redskins score on the opening possession for the first time this year.
Well, they've had chances. They've really controlled the ball in the first quarter. They lead the league in time of possession, but their opening drives have been a little bit of everything. Blocked field goals, turnovers. It's been an adventure, that opening drive for the Redskins this season. Finally works out well for them.
Novak kicks off, taken at the 10 by Hicks. Maurice Hicks, a Virginia native, ruled down just shy of the 30. Mike Sellers, who scored the touchdown, made the tackle. Alex Smith and the 49ers offense when we come back.
Every one of your senses has been made a priority. The new 6-speed all-wheel drive IS from Lexus.
Degrees today in the Boston area with some light clouds and possible late shower.
You guys have to go everywhere with me?
Tom, we're figurative metaphors.
What?
We represent the 5 layers of Visa security that surround you in a pocket of protection.
Hi there. Like fraud monitoring?
Verified by Visa. Zero liability.
Metaphors.
With Visa, you're protected.
Can metaphors pay?
No.
It seems like everyone's rushing to get things done faster. But sometimes the best solution is to slow things down. Budweiser Select starts with the finest American and Bavarian hops. Then we brew it longer, giving the beer a full flavor that's easy to drink. Why do we slow things down to make Budweiser Select? It's worth it. Budweiser Select. Expect everything.
The White Sox have a 1-0 lead. Now the Astros look to even the series. World Series Game 2 tonight on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Budweiser Select. Finally, bold taste meets a clean finish. Expect everything.
Welcome back. Early first quarter. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Saragusa. Second possession for the 49ers. Their offense has not scored a touchdown in their last 29 possessions. Johnny Morton in motion. From the 29, the give to Barlow. And Barlow is forced back after a gain of just 1 as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
All right, Kenny Albert, the Saints are looking for their 4th straight win in St. Louis on the right foot here. Aaron Brooks rolling out, hooking up with Dante Stallworth. Boy, it's against a depleted Rams squad that has already lost 3 straight, and they're trailing 7-0. Back to Kenny, Darryl, and Tony.
All right, thanks, JB. Jamie Martin starting at quarterback for the Rams today. The fans on their feet as LaVar Arrington has checked back in. Second down and 9. The toss to Barlow. And Barlow gains just 1 as he's wrapped up by Ryan Clark, who missed last week's game with a bruised spleen. 49ers feel that the running game is the strength of their offense.
Well, this is the group that they want to try and feature today, but we've seen a little bit heavy pass on that opening series, and the one thing, because of the youth and inexperience, there's a lack of playmakers. Another area that the Redskins feel really good about is their matchup with Phillip Daniels versus Anthony Clement. You have Jonas Jennings down. Patrick Estes was their first tackle in, so you're down a little bit there. Another reason why they should be able to generate some pressure on the quarterback, force some decisions, and hopefully finally get some turnovers.
Smith out of the shotgun, 3rd and 6. Pump fake, now he throws, and there's a flag. Brandon Lloyd, the intended receiver, Walt Harris, the left corner, made contact.
Don't know if they'll call that illegal contact or pass interference, but it looked like a double move on the outside.
Illegal contact, defense, number 27. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, this was good protection by the group. They block it up. They allow the opportunity. You see there the double move, the slam and go. A nice sell by Walt Harris.
They could probably call that a mugging if you wanted to.
No, he's trying to draw the charge, but he didn't have his feet set. And there's the protection I talked about. Sean Taylor coming on the blitz. They've got Marcus Washington up inside. Allows Alex Smith the opportunity. A double move route takes a little bit longer to get down the field.
On first down, this is Frank Gore, the rookie out of Miami, 3rd-round pick. And Lamar Marshall makes the tackle, a loss of 1 on the play.
Well, another reason it's going to be an uphill battle for Alex Smith today. This is the starting group in the secondary that Greg Williams has wanted all season, and this is their first time on the field together. They've had a variety of injuries that has taken some of these guys out of the lineup. Now, they were very productive last year in this system, generating sacks, forcing turnovers, making interceptions. So to finally have that starting group back, and then along with LaVar out on the field today, maybe they'll finally get that elusive turnover they've been looking for.
Redskins are without backup cornerback Carlos Rogers, their 1st-round pick. First completion for Smith, but no gain on the play. Brandon Lloyd tackled by the combination of Walt Harris and Marcus Washington.
Hey, Tony, even those quick outs on the outside, not a real good play call against this Washington defense.
No, Washington read that so fast. I think he knew it before Alex did. He was out there on the corner. He had to beat 2 guys. You know, them quick passes, they you know, be successful sometimes, but not against this defense, I don't think today, Moose.
And that catch made by Lloyd, who did not have a reception in the 49ers last game against the Colts. 3 wide receivers set, 3rd down and 11. Smith looking for Lloyd. Walt Harris on the coverage, and the 49ers forced to punt.
Greg Williams is going to challenge Alex Smith in so many different ways today, and the one thing we're seeing right now, he's bringing pressure early and often. Here comes Matt Bowen from the safety position along with your corner. So, you know, he wants to keep him guessing and keep him off rhythm by bringing blitzes and then dropping back into coverage. But right now, because Washington is having success with the blitz, he's going to stay with it until they adjust on the sideline. I've only seen him really pick it up well one time so far when they tried to get that double move down the field to Brandon Lloyd.
Moose, down here on the field, I've seen their defense come out in 5 different sets in the last couple series. It was, you know, it's confusing down here also for me to look at it.
Nice return by James Thrash. Takes it out across the 40. 33-yard punt, 10 yards on the return.
I'm here to show you how the new right guard extreme power stripe works. Let's say these guys are the power stripe.
Red Rover, we call Billy over.
And this guy's Oder. But now it's 25% stronger because we supercharged the stripe with dry tech.
Red Rover, we call T-O-over.
You do not want to be Oder.
We call Javon over. Yo, get more extreme, get right guard.
Here's Michael at the foul line. He shoots over Elo. No good. Michael misses. Cleveland wins. They're waving Giambi around.
If you're a fraction off, it can change everything. On the field and in the lab, where Gatorade scientists test and retest athletes so we know exactly what their bodies demand. Precision counts. Out there. And in here.
King is on fire, going deep with BK Chicken Fries. Grab the new all-white meat 12-piece and score a free medium fries and drink. Get in the game quick, the clock is ticking on this deal.
For your many sons. The all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus.
Well, the Redskins are pressuring the quarterback, but they're also pressuring the punter. I'm not quite sure why Rock Kitewright doesn't get called for running into the kicker, but you got some collision back there with the punters. So they're bringing pressure wherever they can today.
And following the return by Thrash, good field position for the Redskins. They start from their own 40-yard line. Redskins drove 61 yards on their first possession to take the lead. 3 wide receiver set on first down, Clinton Portis. And Portis out to the 46-yard line, gain of 6, brought down by former Redskin linebacker Derek Smith.
Clinton Portis, you can't say enough about him. He's really banged up, and you know, Joe Gibbs has been very complimentary of him. And he's been a warrior the last few weeks. He's not 100% out there. Liddell Betts, who's behind him, is not 100%, but he keeps suiting up. He's missed practice the last couple of weeks trying to get himself healed up, but he's there every Sunday game time.
Gain 6 on the play, now second down and 4. Brunell in trouble, down he goes. Back at the 36-yard line, Brandon Moore starting for the injured Salim Rashid.
You know, Brandon Moore, we had them earlier, and he had a big game. He's going to come from the inside here on a loop. He's going to come outside. You've got Andre Carter, 96, but they bring 2 to that side. They've only got 1, so they found out where the overload would work. They were releasing the fullback out into the flat quickly, and they brought 2 guys. That left Clinton Portis to block 2. They were able to overload that side to get the sack.
Brandon Moore, the brother of longtime NFL wide receiver Rob Moore, who played for your alma mater. 3rd down and 11. Brunell with time. He fires, and it's caught by David Patton. And Patton picks up a first down and more all the way down to the San Francisco 37-yard line. A 24-yard pass play.
Now, you can't forget about David Patton. He was the other addition in the offseason to try and generate some plays down the field for this Redskin offense. But now Mark Brunell, he's looking at Santana Moss. He comes back to David Patton very late with just a quick little flick to get that ball down the field to him.
Patton, 3 Super Bowl rings with New England. His longest reception this season. From the 37 on first down. Brunell initially could not find anyone. Now he throws, and it's Portis, the intended receiver, but he juggled it, came down out of bounds.
You know, I don't know if I've seen anybody this season at the quarterback spot with a better touch than Mark Brunell, because to me, I thought he was throwing this away. I don't know how he got that over the defender with even an opportunity for Clinton Portis to try and make that catch. But you've seen some of these deep ball passes. The guys are in stride. It's right there. They don't have to slow down for it. They don't have to wait for it. And it's against tight coverage, but also on some of these shorter and intermediate routes, he has just shown me over the last few weeks an incredible touch.
Brunell started 9 games last year. Patrick Ramsey took over. Ramsey started the opener this year. And now it's Brunell's job again. The screen to Cooley. Chris Cooley inside the 10, finally brought down by Brandon Moore at the 5-yard line. 32 yards from Brunell to Cooley.
Boy, for a team that struggled generating big plays last year, they're just full of them here in the first quarter. Chris Cooley's your back right here. They're going to do a double screen. They go out to the left. What great patience by Chris Cooley. He blocks the defender so he doesn't get the opportunity to get on Mark Brunell right away, doesn't panic. Great timing on selling that and then slipping into the screen element. When he caught the ball and turned downfield, he had 3 guys out in front as blockers with nobody there from San Francisco.
The 3rd big pass play of over 20 yards for the Redskins in this first quarter. Portis into the end zone for the first time this season.
I never thought we'd be talking about Clinton Portis' first rushing TD at this point in the season. Last year, he took the first play of the season the distance for a touchdown.
This year, on his 110th carry, he finally scores. His first touchdown in his last 8 games. 14-0 Redskins.
Building the fastest car in its class doesn't mean leaving intelligence, beauty, and control behind. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus.
You get it?
Got it. Let's do 10.
10 it is.
Ready to go? On my way.
Over 17 million Nextel walkie-talkie users connect coast to coast and country to country in under a second to form the world's largest walkie-talkie network. Now buy one I-265, get one free. Nextel now available from Sprint. Sprint together with Nextel. Yes, you can.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Steak or Chicken Nachos Bel Grande. Grilled authentic carne asada steak or marinated all-white meat chicken give Nachos Bel Grande that great flavor of the grill. For great grilled taste, think outside the bun.
Hi, I'm here with my little buddy Bart Simpson to remind you that Steph is returning to Fox Wednesday, November 9th. Right, Bart?
We didn't have the heart to tell Pamela Anderson we couldn't get the rights to use Bart Simpson.
You are so fresh.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher, it's in the NFL. Is it in you? By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by the all-new Lexus IS, why live in one dimension?
Clinton Portis, a touchdown machine during his 2 seasons in Denver. You think he's relieved right now?
You know, sometimes it just gets into the back of your mind. You wonder if you're ever going to get into the end zone again this season. But they had an opportunity that first drive, and, you know, Tony Saragusa steered them in the right direction, told them they need to get into that play action. But they came back to it on that second one. But good blocking. You know, kind of that play that you saw him score so many touchdowns in Denver. You get everybody moving in one direction. You're doing the zone blocking scheme up front. You let Clinton Portis pick the hole, and he picked the right one right into the end zone.
The offensive line is really doing a great job, Darryl, especially on that screen. You know, they sold it so well. My eyes didn't even go to it. Usually I could pick up an offensive lineman when they're trying to leak out, but they did a great job of staying in there. Also, Cooley did also of getting the ball and getting out there. There's no one out there to defend that play.
Tony, kickoff taken out by Rasheed Marshall, a quarterback at West Virginia, and he's brought down by Mike Sellers. His second special teams touchdown. Portis had some fun at practice this week, masquerading as a guy who used to score touchdowns.
Hey, Teddy, I hate to bother you. You sent my melon to Peyton, P-E-Y.
Groceries, $41.
That's awesome, man.
Charlie! Oil change, $25.
Good too. Decaf!
Lunch,
Decaf!
$12.
Great shift today, guys. Nice salad bar.
Your favorite players.
Yes.
Priceless.
Yes. Yes.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
You signed the bread to my little brother. He loves you.
And Coolidge gets it. 96 yard takes the lead. We got a great...
DLP picture technology is here. HD TV that's so razor sharp and lifelike, you're there. Be sure your next TV has DLP technology from Texas Instruments. It doesn't get any more real than this.
Introducing the new fresh toasted chicken Parmesan sandwich from Subway restaurants. Tender chicken, zesty marinara sauce, melted cheese on toasted freshly baked bread. The new fresh toasted chicken Parmesan sandwich. Molto delicioso. Subway, eat fresh.
I've never murdered anyone. The decisions are up to them.
He's testing us.
Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve life.
It's not a good idea.
Do you appreciate yours?
Rated R. In theaters everywhere Friday.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. For a free team catalog, call 877-NFL-SHOP.
14-0 Redskins over the 49ers. Tonight on Fox, Game 2 of the World Series. The White Sox look to take a 2-0 lead. Coverage begins live from U.S. Cellular Field in high definition right here on Fox. 49ers have punted on their first 2 possessions. They start from their own 23-yard line. Play action. Smith can't find anyone downfield. And gains about 3 out to the 26-yard line, setting up 2nd down and 7.
Well, a small example of one of the decisions that Mike Nolan made when he decided to trade Tim Rattay down to Tampa Bay for a future draft pick because of the lack of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. And you saw they've got -2 yards at this point before that play. He felt that Alex Smith, because he's mobile, added a dimension to maybe prolong a play, create something that wasn't there. You saw it on that last play. Not a lot, but at least finally some positive yardage for this offense.
2nd down and 7. Again, play action. Smith rolling right. And could not find anyone. Guess who made the tackle? Fans on their feet again, cheering for LaVar Arrington.
Well, the great thing about this is watch, he comes inside on a blitz and gets stopped. And here's where you have an ability to create turnovers. Because of his athleticism, he is down the line of scrimmage, flying through the air. That is a dimension that they were missing. That is why everybody has wanted him on the field. But I agree with the decision the coaching staff made. They have a set of rules. Everybody has to abide by them. His performance in preparation this week allows him to be on the field to make those types of plays.
It looked like he hurt his knee on that last play, too, a little bit there, Moose.
He got bent up funny.
Now Smith airing it out, looking for Lloyd. A diving catch, a spectacular catch made by Lloyd in Redskins territory at the Washington 30.
The underthrown long ball, one of the most difficult passes to defend, and Walt Harris is in good position, but he's on top of Brandon Lloyd. Now this ball is underthrown. All the advantage goes to Brandon Lloyd to get in there and make that catch. Walt Harris just can't reach back and get anything on the ball to knock it away. We did the Dallas-San Francisco game, and Brandon Lloyd had a huge day, so he's an up-and-coming wideout in the NFL and maybe one of the only playmakers they have on the outside for this offense.
A 43-yard pass play. Now the give to Barlow. Good second effort, gaining 6 down to the 24. So the 49ers, Darryl, finally out of that negative column in total yards.
Well, they finally got something positive. And now let's see if they can keep the momentum, because when you're a young team and you're going through this transition, it's very hard to learn how to win. And they were able to beat St. Louis in the opening game of the week, but they were beaten in every statistical category. And they've let some other games slip away. They've got to get to that point where they can find a way to win. When they get momentum, maintain that momentum.
2nd down and 4. Play action. Penalty marker as Smith throws it away.
That was a smart decision on his part, Moose. Get that ball out. That is not a bad play. Throw it away. If you don't have it, don't try to force something.
Scott Green.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense. Number 73. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's on Ryan Boschetti.
Down in there in the trenches. Let's see. Just K.A.'s time. It just slipped up there. I got it right off. I didn't leave it there.
Tough place to play down in them trenches there.
You get your hand right off the face mask, right, Tony, when you were down there? You know, inadvertent. I got it right off.
As quick as I possibly could. I mean, they got to understand it's tough. It's tough.
Now from the 19 on 1st down, here's Barlow. Gaining 3 down to the 16-yard line. 2nd and 7. When we return, first we check in once again with James Brown.
Hey, Kenny and Darryl, not starting off good for the St. Louis Rams. Their ex-teammate, Oz Hakeem, now with the Saints on the receiving end of that Aaron Brooks 17-yard strike. I was going to say he knows that turf well. Scott Ackerson, our boss, says, no, it's new turf, so he knows the stadium well. They're up 14-0. Back to Kenny and Darryl.
Thanks, JB. Saints looking to get back to the 500 mark. 2nd down and 8. Barlow running hard. Kevin Barlow inside the 5, into the end zone, touchdown.
Well, I tell you, Greg Williams is not going to be happy. This is one of the things. We talked about the turnovers and not getting to the quarterback, but they have been allowing some big running plays this season. This is one of the first ones that broke up inside. But this defense is based on assignment. It's very team-oriented, pursuit, tackling, but you're going to get a little thing here and then right up to the inside. Great blocking by the offensive line. Justin Smiley, 65, but that is really the first one we've seen this season where the defense has gotten gashed between the tackles. Most of the other long runs have been out on the edges, on the perimeter.
Moose, what happens is when you start running 3-4 and a 4-3, as an inside defensive tackle, you forget what you're playing, and all of a sudden you get confused. You don't know whether you're over the guard or the center. On that particular play, they were over the center, and you know, your linebackers have to play differently on different fronts.
Neutral zone infraction, nose guard, defense. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Hey, Tony, are you telling me the defensive guys can't count?
Well, they can, but they have a little bit of problems with that. We count on the linebackers to go and do that for us.
Joe Nedney for the point after. The Redskins lead has been cut to 7, a 6-play, 77-yard drive. The big play, the 43-yard pass from Smith to Brandon Lloyd. It's game 2 of the World Series. Andy Pettit, who will be pitching in his 7th World Series. Mark Burley on the mound for the White Sox, who won game 1 last night in Chicago. White Sox in the World Series for the first time since 1959. Y.A. Tittle was the 49ers quarterback that year. Eddie LeBaron was the Redskins signal caller the last time the White Sox played in the World Series.
Oh, man. Yeah, the thing that, you know, Houston, 15 games below 500 at one point this season. Now they're playing in the World Series. So, you know, you look at the Redskins sitting here at 1-4, and, you know, never give up hope. You know, you never know what's going to happen that second part of the season. I'm going to go back and take a look at what this line did. The big guy, number 65, Justin Smiley, he's going to be pulling right out of here. Does a good job coming upfield, gets LaVar Arrington right there. You see the collision kicked out. That creates the lane. Now up inside, there's Chris Hetherington, number 41, leading them through here with another good block into the secondary. And then bad angles, poor pursuit. That is something that has been a problem for the Redskins defense. And if you're going to play this systematic style, where everybody has an assignment and you have to do them, one of the things that is essential to that is good tackling and proper pursuit angles. And we saw him last week against Kansas City with Priest Holmes. I mean, he takes a screen pass and weaves his way 60 yards for a touchdown.
Darryl, you mentioned Chris Hetherington, a former teammate of Tony's in Indianapolis.
Yeah, he was a youngster back then, but I knew he was going to be a good player. Just a hard-nosed kid, and knows how to get the job done. Sort of like a defensive lineman playing that fullback position.
Here's Rock Cartwright on the return for the Redskins. Out to the 25-yard line, tackled from behind by Maurice Hicks after an 18-yard return.
I guess when you have that defensive lineman mentality, but you can count, they move you to the offensive side?
Yeah, exactly. You were defense in high school, weren't you?
Until I learned how to count.
Well, plus guys, Hetherington is an Ivy Leaguer, graduated from Yale.
Now, don't say that the education in the Ivy League is better than any other place. I'm not buying into that.
I didn't say that.
That's what that was what the insinuation sounded like. Tony, Pittsburgh, Syracuse.
That was a good game this weekend also.
No, it wasn't.
From the 25, Redskins back to work. They've scored touchdowns on both of their possessions in this first quarter. Pass to the outside is caught by Santana Moss, and then he is forced back by the Washington, D.C. native, Julian Peterson, gain of only 1.
Yeah, that shows you the ability of Julian Peterson. He's man-to-man on Santana Moss and does a great job holding him to a 1-yard gain. And he's the guy in this defense. You know, they've had so many injuries across the board for this group, and you know, he's the one guy that is still there. He and Derek Smith on the inside, Tony Parrish in the secondary. They still got a guy at each level that can help out.
Second down and 9, draw to Portis. And Clinton gains 3 out to the 29-yard line. Ben Emmanuel, just activated from the practice squad, made the tackle as time winds down in this first quarter here in Landover, Maryland. 2-yard touchdown pass from Mark Brunell to Mike Sellers. 5-yard TD run by Clinton Portis, his first score of the season. And then for the 49ers, Kevin Barlow, a 17-yard touchdown scamper. Redskins lead 14-7. After 1, Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages.
There's a change taking place, a wave of self-expression. And it's being driven by people with a vision to live life, not by some rule book, but on their own terms. Star Motorcycles. We build it. You make it your own. Exclusively at your Yamaha dealer.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Do you believe anything is possible? I do. I work at Earthlink.
A world without viruses?
Spyware.
Or online identity theft?
I believe.
Introducing Protection Control Center from Earthlink. All your protection needs in one place. Scans for all threats with just the push of a button. Faster, simpler, smarter.
I believe.
I believe.
Call now and get a great deal on Earthlink High Speed. Earthlink. We revolve around you.
The wheel goes round and round, we keep it moving, and it don't slow down. The wheel goes round and round, we keep it moving.
Round and round.
The wheel goes round and round, keep it moving.
Oh yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. The wheel goes round and round, round and round, round and round, goes round and round.
Go long, boy! Go long! 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 Longer! Longer! Okay, too long.
The Simpsons return with all new episodes 2 weeks from tonight on Fox.
Back in Landover, Maryland, you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. We start the second quarter. Kenny Albert, Darrell Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. Redskins leading 14-7. Third down and 6 for Washington. They have to get to the 35 for a first down, and they do. Brunell to David Patton, his second big play of the day, as Patton takes it all the way down to the San Francisco 39.
Just a great job. Here's that last touchdown run again by Kevin Barlow. Good blocking by the offensive line of the San Francisco 49ers. But the Washington Redskins,
.32 yards from Brunell to Patton. From the 39, first carry of the game for Liddell Betts, who missed last week's game with a groin injury, and he's stopped by the longtime Atlanta Falcon, Travis Hall. No gain on the play.
You know, I thought that was, it's one of those things where, is a backup, you never appreciate him until something happens. And with Clinton Portis last week, we talked about him being a little banged up, but unfortunately Liddell Betts was also last week at Kansas City. Now Rock Cartwright came in, I thought he did a great job, but he had one critical mistake. And you know, you put the ball on the ground, they pick it up, they go 80 yards for a touchdown. So you never can underestimate the importance of a quality backup.
Portis in the first quarter today, 7 carries, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Off the play fake. Brunell throws this one out of bounds. David Patton, the intended receiver. It will be third down and 10.
I think with both of these offenses today, we're going to get to see you know, an indication of where the offenses are going to move in the coming years, because these defenses with their schemes, and Mike Nolan's very aggressive in his approach in San Francisco, and Greg Williams with what he's doing in Washington. There's a lot of these coordinators around the NFL and coaches very aggressive in what they're doing defensively. They've got to start moving the pocket a little bit more, whether it's the bootlegs or setting up in different positions. They can't be stationary in the pocket with their quarterbacks.
3 wide receivers. Brunell out of the shotgun. Third down and 10. Has time. He throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for James Thrash.
Little zip on that one. We talked about his touch earlier in the game, being able to fit some balls into some spaces, but that shows you the strength right there when he's got to. James Thrash, that gets on him quick, right through his hands.
I don't think he was expecting that to have as much zip behind it as we were.
No, there's been some ones today that are nice, soft deliveries, you know, floating them in there. That one, he had to fit it into a tight spot, and he put some zip on it.
Not a good kick, but it does take a Redskins bounce all the way down to the 15-yard line. 24-yard punt by Frost. 14-7 Redskins.
The all-new Ram Mega Cab has an available Cummins diesel, the only reclining rear seats, and the most rear seat legroom in a truck. It has the world's biggest cab.
See you guys. Hi. Later. Okay. Who's riding shotgun?
I'm good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Hi, honey.
Comfy back there?
The Dodge Ram Mega Cab. Yeah, it's that big.
Cholesterol comes from two sources. It's not only from that foot-long Frank, but from your Grandpa Frank. And not just from that Virginia ham, but from your Aunt Ginny, too. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the two sources of cholesterol, food and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin was proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the two sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Vytorin. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? By WebMD, better information, better health. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Welcome back. Beautiful day here in Landover. Early second quarter. The numbers on Alex Smith, 2 for 5, 43 yards. In his second NFL start. First overall draft pick out of the University of Utah. From the 15-yard line, Barlow, nothing. Warwick Holdman, the former Chicago Bear, in on the tackle. Well, he has not lost many games as a starter, going back to his high school days in San Diego.
That's awesome, though. But, you know, he told us he was not highly recruited coming out of high school. Really only 2 opportunities to go to Division I. So this is not, you know, one of those guys that you heard about that was this star athlete in high school, but you could see 25-1 as a starter. You wonder what some of these other colleges missed when they were watching the films.
He did not pass very often in high school because his running back was Reggie Bush, who's the,
well,
the star at USC. This pass is caught out at the 21-yard line by tight end Trent Smith. Imagine that combination, Alex Smith and Reggie Bush, high school teammates.
Well, at this point right now, you've got a high school out there in San Diego that could have back-to-back #1 picks in the NFL draft, because I think it's going to be a tough decision, Matt Leinart or Reggie Bush next year, but I don't know. A lot of people talk about him maybe being a better playmaker than Marshall Faulk in his versatility. And in the NFL, that would be huge for any offense to be able to build around a guy like that.
Third down and 4. Play action. Smith rolling right. Now throws. The catch is made, but Sean Springs right there to bring down Rasheed Marshall, who makes his first NFL reception, but loses a yard.
Well, that is the way Washington plays defense. Chris Clemens, the linebacker, does his job. He doesn't get fooled on the bootleg. He's right there to pressure Alex Smith. And then when he throws the ball, Sean Springs is right there to make the tackle immediately. That's what this defense is about when you talk about assignments and getting to the ball.
49ers go 3 and out for the second time. Good kick and a fair catch back at the 26-yard line by James Thrash.
Ooh, that likes. That like. Ooh, that likes.
So you better take Daddy over to Best Buy.
Sure, we had a good time pillaging. But with so many people switching to Capital One, we've had to find new jobs.
Maybe a 7.5.
Go!
It's been especially tough on Ivan the Great.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One.
What's in your wallet? What are you looking at?
Sometimes reality television
I give it up to God. I'm a God warrior.
gets too real.
I've planted that seed and I will see the harvest. Get out of my house.
The most compelling footage ever caught on tape.
Gargoyles! Psychics!
Trading Spouses Meet Your New Mommy returns with the mother of all meltdowns Wednesday, November 2nd on Fox.
Get out!
My name is Michael Schofield. 17 days from now, they strap my brother to an electric chair, send 50,000 volts coursing through his body for a crime he didn't commit. I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm getting you out of here.
The season's biggest new thriller just keeps getting better.
I can't watch him die. I won't do that.
Prison Break returns tomorrow at 8, 7 Central with a 2-hour event. Viewer discretion advised.
49ers head coach Mike Nolan was the defensive coordinator here in Washington from 1997 until 99 under then Redskins head coach Norv Turner.
Got to play against Mike Nolan defenses a couple times in my career. Tough system to go against.
Last time the Redskins had a winning record, and the last time they made the playoffs was 99 when Mike Nolan was here. The handoff to Clinton Portis. Hard to bring down, and Portis gains 9 out to the 35-yard line.
Well, the one thing that the San Francisco 49er defense has to do is they've got to get themselves off the field, and they've taken a ton of defensive snaps already during the course of this season. And what Washington likes to do, their first thing is controlling time of possession. They like to be out on the field, wear down that defense, keep the opposition's offense off the field. And Julian Peterson, he said one of our biggest challenges is going to be trying to force some 3 and outs, but they've been so good on first down today. It's going to be a tough chore for them if they keep that up.
2nd down and 1. Portis up the gut, and he may have been stopped short. Derek Smith, the former Redskin, made the tackle for the 49ers.
Moose, you know, you're exactly right. When you get into those situations as a defense with the 2nd and 1, you know, 2nd and 2, it's so hard to go and focus in on 2- and 3-play series, you know, to try and stop and shut them guys down so you can get off the field.
Redskins leading the time of possession. They've won that battle in 4 of their first 5 games.
Well, that's really a fundamental philosophy of Joe Gibbs and the offense that they're running here. You know, it hasn't really turned into a lot of points, but they've been controlling the ball. And a lot of that has to do with Clinton Portis. And, you know, the one thing that everybody talks about, you talk to these defensive coaches and defensive players, and, you know, we want to force them into 3rd and long. We don't want to let them get into 3rd and short. Well, yeah, that's what everybody wants to do. But the first down production is what really sets the tone for that. And you know, Tony's exactly right. I mean, if you're getting to 2nd and 2s and 2nd and 4s, I mean, your playbook just opens up, and you can do so many different things at that time.
Redskins spread the field with 4 wide receivers on 1st down. And they keep it on the ground with Portis. Gets to turn the corner and gains 4 yards out to the 40-yard line, setting up 2nd down and 6.
Washington continuing to just run the balls on these first downs. And, you know, Clinton Portis is putting him in good positions to stay ahead of the chain. That's a successful run. Most coaches will look at a running play, and if you're 4 yards, it's a successful run. It gets you to 2nd and 6. You're kind of staying ahead of the chains in that situation. All of a sudden, you shift your personnel, you come out, you open up your formation with 4 wides and go to the shotgun.
Liddell Betts has replaced Portis. Brunell over the top. Betts, short gain, picks up 3. And again, it's Derek Smith, who has led the 49ers in tackles each of the last 4 years. Smith makes the stop.
Right there, maybe a little bit of progress, Tony, in what direction this offense is trying to move in a 2nd and 6 situation. They're in the shotgun, and they've got 4 wide receivers. So Mark Brunell maybe getting that point across that he would like more options down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't care about max protection. When we talk to him, he says, I would rather have a lot more receivers out there and options to go to them rather than protecting me because I can get out of situations.
He has 3 wide receivers, Tony, on 3rd and 3. Dumps it off to Chris Cooley. And Cooley picks up the 1st down and more down to the San Francisco 41, 16 yards from Brunell to Cooley.
I don't think this was a screen because Chris Cooley doesn't have anybody out in front of him. There he is, number 47. I think he's in protection. There's nowhere to go with the football for Mark Brunell. So he just feels he gets beat to the inside, lets the guy go, throws him away. And that's such a great feel. If Mark Brunell and Chris Cooley are at that level now, and they've only really had an opportunity to play together for 5 games, that's huge to have that type of rapport.
From the 42, Liddell Betts, who was lined up in the slot, and Betts takes it down to the 35, a gain of 6.
This offense is really starting to progress. And last week at Kansas City, you could see how far they had come. We had them in the opener, and to see them against Kansas City, there was tremendous progress at that point. And now, just from last week to this week, it seems like they've taken another step, and they're opening up things even a little bit more.
And remember, this is an offense that did not score a touchdown in their Week 1 victory over Chicago. In their second game in Dallas, did not score a touchdown for 57 minutes. Moss on a wide receiver screen. Santana still on his feet. Tiptoeing down the sidelines, finally forced out of bounds at the 14-yard line after a gain of 21.
Chris Cooley has such a good feel for this game. I mean, watch him right here. You're going to have a blitzer come right across his face, but he knows it's a quick pass play. He lets Mike Adams go. He gets out into the screen element with John Jansen and gets the block that springs Santana Moss downfield. That is, I mean, that's so good in execution, but the patience and the timing, we've seen a couple of screens. These guys are really in sync with that part of their game.
5 of Brunell's 9 completions have gone for longer than 20 yards. Here's Portis, and he's tackled by the senior member of the 49ers, the 12-year vet, Bryant Young.
Well, you know, they're running some plays, and they're getting these big plays off of wide receiver screens. The touchdown last week against Kansas City, 78 yards, but it was a ball that was thrown at the line of scrimmage, maybe 1-2 yards down the field. A great block by Chris Samuels last week on that play. This week, another big play on a simple quick screen play, which, you know, I really always felt that the speed at the NFL kind of negates that play, but their blocking schemes and their knowledge of the system and what makes it successful has generated some big plays with that wide receiver screen.
Now 2nd down and 9. Brunell to the outside, intended for Cooley, broken up beautifully by Julian Peterson.
Maybe a little bit too much rapport there, huh, Tony?
Yeah, you know, the one thing that I'm seeing down here is the Redskins pretty much lull you to sleep, and then all of a sudden when you start easing up a little bit, then they hit you with the big gash. It's sort of they're dumping the ball off here, little run here, then all of a sudden they'll go and take a chance down the field, and they've been really going and capitalizing on those. And you talked about Cooley earlier, you know, him on that one screen. What that one little dump pass, what a great job. It's so hard to defend when all of a sudden you go and you're blocking a guy, and then all of a sudden he gets by you and he gets out and gets that pass.
Brunell calls timeout with 6:20 remaining, second quarter. Redskins leading by a touchdown. A 3rd and 9 from the 13 when we return.
Tell me you didn't invite him.
Great taste, great times.
Now, well-qualified lessees can lease a Dodge Charger SXT with a V6 for just $349 a month.
Dude, you said 2:30.
I called and texted. You didn't get any of my messages?
You guys are killing me.
That's your network?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Is that your network? Yeah.
Well, this is awkward. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. And only Verizon Wireless is America's most reliable. Verizon Wireless, it's the network.
It's NFL Sunday is sponsored by Verizon Wireless. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. Verizon Wireless.
Welcome back. Redskins leading by a touchdown. A big 3rd and 9 play coming up. Redskins offense now really able to do a nice job today moving the football.
Well, the one thing has been the big plays, and let's not lose sight. This is a 49er defense. They've got a lot of injuries there. They are ranked near the bottom of the league in most statistical categories. So Washington's offense should be doing the things that they're doing right now. And that's kind of another step that this group is taking. You're supposed to win the games on your schedule when you look at it. And you know, they say in the NFL, every game's a challenge, but Washington should be in this position right now.
3rd down and 9. Brunell over the middle. And Clinton Portis makes the catch, picks up the 1st down at the 1-yard line.
You know, Moose, you made a good point about, San Francisco's defense, but I talked to Julian Peterson. He was really concerned before the game about having, playing a lot of plays in this game and being on the field for a long time. He says it really affects him in the 4th quarter when they really have, been outscored by, 60-some-odd points.
All right, Tony, 1st and goal from the 1. Portis, he is in, walks it in for his 2nd touchdown of the game, and then does a couple of cartwheels to celebrate. I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, that was all right.
That was new.
That was very new.
Very new.
The first one wasn't that good, but the second one was very nice.
I give him a 6.4 on that first one.
Tony, when was the last time you did a cartwheel?
Long time ago, Kenny. I got stuck in one back in high school. Couldn't get out. They had to call out the stretcher.
2nd touchdown of the game and the season for Clinton Portis. Nick Novak, the extra point. A 21-7 lead for the Redskins.
Remember, guys, Tom will be paying with his Visa card. You guys will represent the 5 layers of Visa security. Matt, zero liability. Brandon, identity theft assistance. Russ, fraud monitoring.
Why am I fraud monitoring?
What?
Why can't I be zero liability?
Well, Russ, I'm actually zero liability.
Why can't you be identity theft assistance?
I'm identity theft assistance. Hey, listen, I'll be fraud monitoring. You? Fraud monitoring?
With Visa, you're protected.
I'm the director.
Well, why can't I be the director?
It's a fact. The more we learn about how to take care of ourselves and our families, the longer and healthier our lives become. That's why more people turn to WebMD than any other health information source. It's a place where people find answers to health questions with an ease never before possible, where doctors discover new and better ways to care for their patients. A place where everyone can finally forge a link between better information and better health. WebMD.
Introducing Taco Bell's new Steak or Chicken Nachos Bel Grande. Grilled authentic carne asada steak or marinated all-white meat chicken give Nachos Bel Grande that great flavor of the grill. For great grilled taste, think outside the bun.
November 1st, the new hit Bones returns.
Pack your bags. We're going to Washington State.
Now, Dr. Temperance Brennan finds horror in the Northwest wilderness.
There's a woman here. She's missing her heart.
As forensic scientist for the FBI, solving murder is her specialty.
This is approximately 60% of the arm of a male.
But can she stop true evil?
I've never seen anything like this before.
We don't just have a killer on our hands. We have a cannibal.
Bones is all new Tuesday, November 1st on Fox. There's only one place to watch new episodes of Family Guy. 2 weeks from tonight on Fox.
Judge Saragusa awarding a 6.4 on the first Portis cartwheel.
If he had spandex on, I would have gave him a higher score, guys.
You got to go higher with the full pads.
Yeah, the second one was an 8.9. 8.9 on the second.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Maurice Hicks on the return. Now, I would have expected a cartwheel from that man, Rock Cartwright, not from Clinton Portis. Cartwright, the special teams tackle.
This special teams group last week against Kansas City was very, very good against Dante Hall. Mike Sellers, Rock Cartwright, guys that they're playing special teams, but you know, they're also, you know, key backup roles. Mike Sellers, you know, a fullback. He's only got 4 catches this year, but he's got 3 touchdowns. But his big impact for the Redskins week in and week out is on special teams.
3 wide receivers for the 49ers. From the 27. Smith in trouble. Down he goes.
Wow. Alex Smith right there. You know, paying the rookie dues, Tony. He got off kind of light, just carrying a helmet and singing some fight songs and maybe buying some donuts.
Yeah, he thought that was really, you know, they really got me good. They made me buy donuts. You don't know that me and you were washing cars and buying dinners.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and the one thing when he talked about his scholarship, you know, he had 2 offers at Utah and Louisville. The one thing he told me later on was the one scholarship that he had to Louisville was from his uncle, John L. Smith, who's his dad's brother. So he really didn't classify that as a scholarship.
Might have the NCAA looking at some violations there in Louisville.
Keep it in the family.
Smith to the outside. And the catch is made by Johnny Morton. John L. Smith, now the head coach at Michigan State. He was the head coach at Louisville. And Scott Linehan was the offensive coordinator, left for the Vikings. So Alex Smith decided to go to Utah. Linehan now the offensive coordinator down in Miami.
Yeah, he knew that Louisville was going to go into a period of transition, so he felt Utah was the best fit for him, and it worked out to be true. But the thing that I like about Alex Smith is he's a fan of the game. When you talk to him about the game of football, right away it was John Elway, but he likes Tom Brady today. But sometimes you find these guys who are playing in the NFL, but they didn't grow up as fans of the game.
4 wide receivers, and the 49ers keep it on the ground on 3rd and 7. Frank Gore, the rookie out of Miami, who backed up Clinton Portis early in his career with the Hurricanes. And the 49ers will punt it away. Alex Smith's dad, Doug Smith, and Doug's brother, John L., were teammates at Weber State. And Alex's dad is now the principal at Helix High School, Alex's alma mater. Been a principal there for the last 15 years. James Thrash upended at the 33-yard line by Chris Hetherington, who played baseball at Avon Old Farms High School in Connecticut. A couple of years after Houston Astros catcher Brad Ausmus finished his high school career at the same school. Ausmus and the Astros getting ready for Game 2 tonight in Chicago against the White Sox. Andy Pettit looking to set a major league record with his 15th career postseason victory. He goes up against Mark Burley.
That may be the best segue I've heard.
You like that one?
That was strong.
Hetherington, a very good baseball player in high school. From the 33, here's Portis. First down out to the 44-yard line from Chris Hetherington, a Yale product, to a Harvard graduate, James Brown.
That's
JB?
reaching. That's reaching.
Whoa, that's going back, Kenny. Hey, buddy, thank you so very much. Take a look. We know Robert Ferguson left with a knee injury. So what? Brett drills a bullet to Antonio Chapman. They're up 14-0 on Minnesota. Boy, it continues to pour in Minnesota. Back to Kenny Albert, the erudite one.
Packers coming off the bye week. Scored 52 points in their last game, a win over the Saints. Portis. Big first half for Clinton Portis. Into 49ers territory. He gains 8 more.
More success on first down. And, you know, watching that game break right there, you know, San Francisco may be 1-4, but they're heading in the right direction. Minnesota, that franchise is, boy, it's just a mess up there in Minnesota. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for those players and those coaches to finish out this season.
Now 2nd and 5. Odell Betts picks up the first down and more. Betts finally tackled from behind by Mike Adams after a gain of 18 yards.
Well, it doesn't matter who you're putting in the backfield right now. The Washington Redskins running game really getting into high gear. And if you're going to be a group that wants to control time of possession, you've got to have a strong running game.
Big first half for Joe Gibbs and the Redskins as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
I see packages coming in from Shanghai today.
Yeah, Oracle, I know. 200 and 80 from Portland tomorrow morning.
What?
It's UPS. See, now I get a detailed report of all their shipments coming in.
Huh.
I've already notified production and alerted sales.
Well, I can't compete with that.
Yeah, that's why you're being reassigned to accounting. Oh, my stapler.
It's the 25th anniversary of Pizza Hut Pan Pizza.
And there's only one way to celebrate 25 years. Pan pizza for 25 cents. Just buy any large specialty pizza at menu price and you'll get a medium one-topping pan pizza for a quarter.
See that kid dreaming of serving his country? That jarhead is me.
I love this job.
Ooh, rated R, November 4th.
Jeez, that's a big truck.
It has the world's biggest cab. The all-new Dodge Ram Mega Cab.
Where's the truck?
Yeah, it's that big.
2 minutes remaining, first half here in Landover, Maryland. Redskins leading the 49ers 21-7. 266 yards of offense for the Redskins so far. Brunell 10 of 14. Clinton Portis 63 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. 3 tight ends in the game. Liddell Betts in the backfield. Off the play fake. Brunell going deep. Touchdown, Santana Moss. 32 yards.
Well, you mentioned the 3 tight ends, Kenny. That's a strong run key. They get in, they run play action. They're going to go to Santana Moss on the outside. But watch Shawntae Spencer, 36. He turns him loose right here. He thinks he's got help over the top from number 20, Mike Adams, who's coming into the bottom of your picture. So a miscommunication with the coverage back there, and the Redskins make the 49ers pay with a touchdown.
And I don't know what the defensive linemen were looking at, but there was a 0 pass rush on that also.
Season high 28 points for the Redskins. Santana Moss 2 touchdowns last week in Kansas City, and his brother Sonoris, playing for the University of Miami, scored on a similar screen pass. Sonoris went 92 yards, Santana went 78.
And I think Sonoris could have gone from about 150. I mean, he just separated from everybody, and Santana said that he's got better speed at this point in his career than Santana did. So, but pretty amazing. I mean, mirror images of the plays, and kind of got inspired by the younger brother. Said he'd have to throw something up there to try and keep pace.
Looked like Sonoris's camera was running a little faster than the other camera. I'll tell you what, he looked like he was moving a little bit faster than the brother.
Had a different film speed on that one.
Well, Sonoris scored his touchdown Saturday against Temple. Santana heard all about it and said when he was running down the sideline in Kansas City, all he could think about was, I can't believe I'm about to score on the same play my brother did yesterday.
Well, I thought the funny thing was when they were growing up and they'd be in the backyard and they'd play a pickup game of football. They never let Santana be the captain because they knew he'd pick Sonoris as his guy. So they couldn't allow them both to be on the same team. Shows you the athletic ability in that family.
But then as the years went on, they forgot they also had another younger brother who could cover Sonoris. So it was, now what do? You have 3 teams?
Little round robin scrimmage in the backyard.
There you go.
Darryl, were you always the first pick?
Never.
What about you, Tony?
No, I wasn't, but I had this guy, Bob Stenner, who was always the first pick when he was young. And I knew him very well.
He still is. Maurice Hicks on the return. Brings it out to the 25.
You had a dimension last year that was just totally absent in this offense. In the last 4 minutes of that Dallas Cowboy game, just has woken up this offense. And from that point on, there have been big plays every week. Mostly Santana Moss. But we saw it in that last one. That was David Patton, and he's had a couple more today. Chris Cooley's had a couple big ones today. So this offense is really starting to hit its stride. And that's why if this defense can start making the plays that they did last year, generate some turnovers, you know, that was a big issue last year, but get to the point where you're giving this group a short field. This is going to be an impressive team. And I'll say it again, you know, they were 3-0, but I still didn't think they were one of the top teams in the NFC. But the way they played at Denver and at Kansas City, even though they lost the game, I felt that they were now getting to the point where they were a team to watch in the NFC, and they have proven it again this afternoon.
Following the penalty on the return, it's the worst starting field position of the day for Smith and the 49ers. Alex Smith complete to Trent Smith. Adi Jamo comes up to make the tackle, and a timeout called by the Redskins. Darryl, when you look at those 3 wins, the Redskins really could have lost any of those 3 games and could have won either of the 2 losses in Denver and Kansas City. 3 turnovers last week. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll bring you scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker with up to the second scores and stats. That's all coming up during our Visa Halftime Report.
Yeah, you had a lot of people in Washington saying how close they were to 5-0, but they were also pretty darn close to 0-5 too. So, you know, that's one of the things. You know, we've seen Bill Parcells and Dick Vermeil and that coaching style that those guys have. You know, don't do anything to beat yourself. Number one, you know, avoid turnovers and penalties. You know, your control time of possession, get into the fourth quarter, win the game. And that's what that's what Washington was able to do the first couple weeks, but they haven't been able to the last 2. And I know that Coach Nolan, he needs an aspirin when he gets into halftime. This performance has given him a migraine.
Having trouble watching. Second down and 9. Smith going deep, looking for Brandon Lloyd. Walt Harris on the coverage. Getting back to the Redskins, what does Bill Parcells always say? You are what you are. Redskins are 3-2.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the other saying, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day. So, you know, you are 3-2, but you're a good 3-2 team. They have lost the turnover battle in every single game this year, and we're still 3-2 coming into this afternoon's game. You know, that says a lot about this group.
A look at 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McCarthy. They made the decision to go with Smith 2 weeks ago, and they are going to stick with him. Traded Tim Rattay to Tampa Bay earlier this week. Nice catch by Johnny Morton for a 49ers first down.
Well, the one thing that Alex Smith has to do when he's got a guy like Mike McCarthy there, you know, any opportunity to learn from him, take advantage of it, because you talk about the guys that he's helped develop, you know, Matt Hasselbeck, Aaron Brooks, Jake Delhomme. He's helped develop some very good quarterbacks, and this is the first time that Mike McCarthy, as a coordinator, has had a guy with the potential of Alex Smith all to himself.
Smith under pressure, down he goes, lost the football. Redskins have it.
It's a turnover.
Marcus Washington with the hit on Smith, and it was recovered by Philip Daniels.
Well, we had a Clinton Portis rushing touchdown. You know we have to have a turnover. Marcus Washington, good spin move coming from the backside. Alex Smith, there's one thing he talked about. The only way he's going to learn is by being on the field. Well, one of the things you got to know is when that play is over and you got to get rid of it. The closing speed of NFL defenders, much different than the collegiate level, and you've got to secure that ball in the pocket.
The first turnover caused by the Redskins defense in 4.5 games.
They're going to have to find a way to do it besides playing against rookie quarterbacks.
Yes. The other 2 they forced were against Kyle Orton of the Bears.
Hey, take him whenever you can get him, Moose.
Brunell, Sellers, touchdown.
Who says I can only catch a flat pass from the 1-yard line?
Mike Sellers, a touchdown machine. He has 5 catches this season. 4 have gone for touchdowns.
That's not bad, an 80% success rate.
You're always in a good mood, Moose, when you see a fullback go and catch a touchdown, aren't you?
Well, you know, from the 1-yard line, the 2-yard line out in the flat like we saw earlier, you know, that's all right, but that was, you know, he lined up at the tight end position, he ran a great route, and he split the coverage.
Guys, this is the most points the Redskins have scored since Joe Gibbs came back. Their season high last year, 31 against the Giants. They've scored 35 in the first half. 2 touchdowns from the product of Walla Walla Community College.
And that's another reason why, I'm excited, not only because he's a fullback, but he's had to overcome a lot in his life to get to this point. And, those are the guys that you like to see. Those are the great stories in the NFL. And you look at that, he's playing in the CFL at age 19, had an opportunity to come down to the NFL, played a little bit here in Washington, then went to Cleveland. Things didn't work out there for him, went back up to the CFL, played well again, got another opportunity back here in Washington, and is making the most out of it. And Mike Sellers you got to have guys like Mike Sellers on your team.
I think there's a definite soft spot for me and you, Moose, when you see a guy who goes and works to where he's at right now. And Mike Sellers is definitely deserving of where he is right now. Not the most talented guy, but he maximizes everything that he has to give to this Washington Redskin team. Does all the dirty work. The great thing about this season is he's got 4 touchdowns already. But he's on special teams. He's blocking down on the goal line for Clinton Portis. Whatever he can do to be a part of this team. Sometimes it takes a guy a missed opportunity to appreciate what he had in the past. And I don't think you'll see Mike Sellers make any mistakes with his second tour of duty here with the Washington Redskins.
And guys, this is the most points scored by the Redskins in their last 55 games.
And we're only halfway through it.
Yeah, they did not score as many as 35 last year. They never scored as many as 35 in Steve Spurrier's 2 seasons. You have to go back to the 2001 season. Second to last game under Marty Schottenheimer. They scored 40 in New Orleans back in December of 2001, the last time the Redskins scored as many as 35 points.
Well, here he is again, We've seen him, with the touchdowns, but, this is his niche right here. Look at how big he is. Okay, now you're a guy that ran 40 yards downfield, and now you got to take on that guy? Are you kidding me? Hey, Keith Lewis, that's a heck of a job right there. That's a heck of a job by Keith Lewis from the 49ers.
Under a minute to go, first half from the 34. Kevin Barlow has to fight to get back to the line of scrimmage and then gains 1. Remember, the Visa halftime report is coming up with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll bring you scores and highlights as well as the Fox Sports ticker. That's all coming up on our Visa halftime report. What do you think halftime will be like in the 49ers locker room?
Oof. Hey, Tony, I think you might need that fly on the wall with the earmuffs again.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good one, but he's just got to go. I'm going to talk to him here going in a couple seconds, but I would expect him to go and say, listen, they just got to keep coming out here, get Alex some time, not try to change the game plan and not make it one-dimensional where you put him in a bad situation.
Another tackle for LaVar Arrington on Kevin Barlow as the first half comes to an end. Arrington is back, and the crowd on their feet as the Redskins take a 28-point lead into the locker room, Darryl, at halftime.
Yeah, I think Tony makes a good point, and we talked about it is what it is, and for right now it's a tough situation for the San Francisco 49ers, but Mike Nolan, the one thing he talked about a lot was the work ethic of his group. They're going to come out and fight in the second half.
35-7 Redskins. The Visa halftime report is next.
If there's one thing that's certain, it's that you can't script October. Joe Creedy powered the White Sox to an early series lead. Now, the Astros turn to Andy Pettitte to even things up and continue their storybook ride. World Series Game 2 tonight in HD on Fox.
Sunday Ticket, brought to you by IBM, helping companies innovate in an on-demand world.
You the help desk?
What seems to be the problem, officer?
Traffic.
Traffic?
Traffic.
What do you need?
What do you got?
I got wireless sensors and congestion flow modeling.
What'll it do?
Cut down traffic.
Will it work?
Works.
Nice work.
Just doing my job. Have a nice day.
Hello, my darling. Your last blossom beckons. I am so congested. If only my medicine could treat and help prevent these seasonal nasal allergy symptoms.
Only Nasonex is clinically proven to both treat and help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion. Only Nasonex. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
I have returned my flower, a changed bee.
For seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, Nasonex is the one to treat and help prevent congestion. Talk to your doctor.
I told her I was a general, and she believed it. You're so full of it, Paige.
What the? Jimmy, help Paige. Doyle, flank that position. Covering fire. Move it!
It's my job to lead these men. None of them are gonna die under my command.
Brothers in arms, earned in blood. Rated M for mature.
Take me right in the car, take me right in the car, take you right in the car. I wanna go right in the car. Engine it goes, engine it goes. Turn my keys, step on the starter. I'm gonna run you home again. I'm gonna run you home again. I'm gonna run you home again. Take me right in the car.
A huge first half for the Washington Redskins. Mark Brunell, 3 touchdown passes. Redskins lead 35-7. The Visa halftime report coming up.
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL.
And now it's time for What Should You Say if Pamela Anderson says,
I love you. Are you drunk?
Wrong answer.
I love you.
Are you trying to be funny? Nope. Try again.
I love you, Stuart.
I love you too. That's correct.
I love you too. I love you so much.
Take it easy.
You don't know how long I waited for you to say those words to me. I love you too. I love you.
Okay, pal. That's enough.
I'll be right back.
Stacked.
Darling.
Don't miss the season premiere, Wednesday, November 9th, after that 70 show on Fox.
In 2 weeks, 2 of Sunday's best are back on one explosive night. 2 hit comedies, twice as many laughs.
What do you think? Great. I can't wait to see the pants. There are pants, aren't there?
The Simpsons' all-new treehouse of horror.
Here, make me a kitty.
Followed by the war at home.
I can see you like costumes with sequins. If you quit the play, I'll take you to a strip club.
Fox Sunday returns with new episodes 2 weeks from tonight.
Roy, this franchise has such a legacy. Do you feel pressure to live up to that? What is it going to take to make it back to the Super Bowl? For you to take up it? How are you gelling with your this year? You feel more comfortable?
I feel great.
And the Cowboys win another Super Bowl title.
You know what? I got to get back to practice.
Just one more question.
The Visa Halftime Report is sponsored by Visa. With Visa, you're protected.
The Washington Redskins with 35 points in the first half, the most they've scored in a half in the first half since 1991.
But this man has yet to score a rushing touchdown. I'm talking about Clinton Portis. Don't worry, takes it up inside. Touchdown, first of the season, 14-0. Redskins, Joe Gibbs got him cranking it up. Then Kevin Barlow says, let's make a ball game. We flew all the way across the country. All right, 17 yards up the middle, 14-7 skins over the 49ers. Second quarter, Portis out of the eye, little close wing on the left, bounces outside, 1-yard touchdown, little celebration. There you go. One more, and I've been impressed. 21-7. And then Mark Brunell, 3 touchdown passes, 230-something yards, passing in the first half. That one to Santana Moss at 32 yards, 35-7. Impressive so far, Skins over the 49ers.
All right, the Eagles are 6-0 after the bye week under Andy Reid. Right now on top by a touchdown. That to Terrell Owens.
All right, Dante Culpepper is going to go ahead and issue his own fines on people not playing good. Don't find those linemen? I don't think so. Culpepper, not much time to throw there. You see Robert Ferguson, the second starting wide receiver, to go out for the Green Bay Packers. Favre, though, then hooks up with Donald Driver. 22-yard score, 7-0 Green Bay. Top right is screen. Quick slant. Inside cornerback touchdown. That one Favre nails inside to Chapman. It is 14-0. And then Llewellyn Moore fumbles, and Kabir Baha Biamila recovers for the Packers. KGB 17-0. I wanted to give him respect by saying his full name.
What's his brother's name?
Bill.
There you go.
Detroit. All right, let's get it going. Garcia in, taking over the quarterback range for the Lions. As you see, Harrington did not rush for a touchdown in his career. Harrington, here you can see Garcia being mobbed by the teammates, showing their love and appreciation for him as the Lions take a 7-3 lead. But here comes the Old Testament. Joshua Cribbs, 90 yards, takes it back, touchdown. Cleveland. Give it to me. Give it.
Amen.
Amen. 10-7. It is the Browns over the Lions.
Little Old Testament.
After halftime. That's right. All right, Aaron Brooks, you've won 3 in a row. You don't lose in St. Louis. Awfully impressive, this young man. Rolling left, Dante Stallworth. You heard Howie and Jimmy say Stallworth has really stepped it up. They expected a big game. Hit the 11-yard touchdown to 7-0. Lewis is ejected unnecessary roughness. Still 7-0 to Brooks. How's Hakeem there? 17-yard. Holy cow, looking good. Stecker, though, having to be carted off to the left. Ankle injury. It's 14-0. Straight up the middle. Touchdown. Nice ball game. Saints doing an awful lot of nice things. Rams without their head coach Mike Marks trying to fight back. 14-7. New Orleans over St. Louis.
Touch on your part there. Steelers in Cincinnati. Roethlisberger and Palmer, 2 highest-rated quarterbacks in the league. 1-point lead there.
That can't be right. Someone tell me that's not right.
14-all?
14-all.
Hey, somebody got him fired up. Howie skins 317 total first-half yards.
Well, you know, they've been putting up big numbers in terms of yardage, and Moss is obviously, in my mind, the most explosive receiver in football this year, and a great addition. They obviously made the right move there. Yeah, Santana Moss. We're talking about the Redskins, so that.
Well, some of our folks could get confused.
The folks they're viewing this game, and they kind of understand.
They may not follow that, though.
But the one thing the Redskins did today in the first half is they converted. The other thing is we saw the explosion from LaVar Arrington that we all know LaVar Arrington is capable of.
Well, Mike Nolan, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, had to make some decisions, personnel decisions that are hurting him in the short term, getting rid of Tim Rattay. But I went through this my first year in Dallas. You're making some decisions now that'll help you down the road.
Hey, Jimmy, and Mike Nolan coaches for whom?
San Francisco.
And Howie Moss plays for whom?
Redskins.
Second half of what game's coming up, Terry?
I don't really care. I don't really care.
Baho.
KGB, leave me alone.
McNabb and the Eagles, Plummer and the Broncos. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader next week in HD.
Sunday Ticket is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires. Passion for excellence.
The wheel goes round and round, we keep it moving, and it don't slow down. The wheel goes round and round, we keep it moving.
Round and round.
The wheel goes round and round, keep it moving.
Oh yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. The wheel goes round and round, round and round, round and round, goes round and round.
Some will get the dirty jobs. Others will lead a more leisurely life.
All you want to do is use me.
Still others will save lives. At GMC, we can't be certain how you'll use our trucks and SUVs, so we engineer them all to the highest standard, professional grade.
All you want to do is use me.
See the game that you missed.
Here we go, pound the rock, 60 minutes.
NFL Network is proud to present an encore of Friday's Chiefs-Dolphins AFC matchup tonight at 8.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
Trot looking for Chambers. Chambers is out there. Chambers makes a great catch.
Now's the time to focus on what we got to do now.
The Chiefs battle the Dolphins tonight at 8 on NFL Network.
Somebody up there loves you.
You are programmed for greatness. You get so many games. Happy husbands and children, a happier wife. Over 200 channels. What a wonderful life. Oh, somebody up there loves you. Somebody knows what you want to see. Someone who knows how to give you the best on TV. Somebody up there loves you. DirecTV.
Something up in Pittsburgh.
It's Steelers camp. He's making another run. Okay, almost total access. 32 team cams only on NFL Network.
All Redskins in the first half. They lead the 49ers 35-7 as we get set for the start of the third quarter here in Landover, Maryland. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. Alex Smith making his second NFL start. Darryl, the first half numbers.
Oh, just indicate what the score is. You know, everything's Washington, and you know, the big thing is, you know, third down. Washington's 5 of 6. They're continuing drives. They're getting more opportunities, and they're taking advantage of everything. They're in complete control of this game. But if they want to get to the next step, if they want to become the team that they hope to, this is the way they should be playing against San Francisco.
Mark Brunell, 237 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns. Clinton Portis, his first 2 touchdowns of the season. Santana Moss, 97 yards. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Tough schedule coming up for Joe Gibbs and the Redskins. The next 3 weeks, Darryl, at the Giants, home for Philadelphia, at Tampa Bay.
Well, that's why he placed a lot of emphasis on this game this afternoon. You have a team that's 1-4 that's coming across the country. This is where the Redskins should be at this point in this game.
Exactly. Have to build momentum, right, Moose, in order to get into that meat of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Rock Cartwright on the return. Takes it out to the 25-yard line. Tony, who'd you talk to at halftime?
Talked to Mike Nolan at halftime, and I asked him, I said, you know, in the situation that you're at, down by so many points, you got a quarterback, you know, who's a rookie out there. He says, listen, Goose, we're going to not change our game plan. We're going to go with the same thing that we want. I want to get him some reps. I'm not concerned really about how, you know, the big comeback or getting all those points on the board. I just want him to go out there, have a good showing, and do what we need to do to get him the reps. So that's what I would expect in the second half.
Redskins start from the 25 on first down. Penalty marker as Portis gains 6 out to the 31-yard line.
He was also concerned about the defense of getting a pass rush and tying up man-to-man with the secondary.
Number 66, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the left guard, Derek Dockery.
Well, here's one of the other big things in that first half. You know, first down, and we mentioned the fact that what you like to do as a defense is force 3rd and longs. Well, you can't do that when you're giving up almost 7 yards on your first down plays. And in the opposite direction to that is San Francisco, you know, under 2 yards per play on first down. So they're going to get into some of these 3rd and long situations.
First and 20 following the penalty. 3 wide receivers set. Cooley shifting. Portis in the backfield. Here's Portis. Sneaks his way up to the 24-yard line for a gain of 9. Anthony Adams made the tackle. Mark Brunell in that first half, 12 completions, 6 of the 12 went for more than 20 yards.
That's very impressive, because that was the area that offense really struggled with last season. And we've talked about Santana Moss quite a bit and his playmaking ability in that situation. But David Patton and Chris Cooley also now having some success getting the ball down the field.
Portis got back to the original line of scrimmage. Now 2nd and 10. Pump fake, throw. Cooley fell down. He tried to make the catch while sitting on the turf, but it fell incomplete.
Well, as good as they ran that play in the first half, that's about as poor as you could run. He
got his feet tangled up.
Yeah, he got his feet tangled up, went down.
That ever happened to you?
Oh, yeah. Well, you have a few moments out there on the football field that you like to bury in those deep, dark recesses of your mind. Try and convince yourself they never happen.
Washington 5 for 6 on 3rd down today. They have to get to the 35 for a first. Moss split to the left, Patton to the right. Brunell on 3rd and 10 overthrows the intended receiver, David Patton. Bruce Thornton on the coverage, so the Redskins will punt for only the 2nd time this afternoon.
Well, and you know, that kind of shows you what Mike Nolan talked to Tony Saragusa about. They're not going to alter anything. They're going to come out and play. And the one thing that he really likes about his team is their work ethic. And they know the situation they're in, but you know, they're going to give all they've got for 60 minutes.
End over end kick. Rasheed Marshall lets it bounce. Still going.
Cannot let the ball hit the ground on a punt.
Comes to a stop at the 24-yard line. 51 yards on the punt and the roll.
It's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back. What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. Just go to Southwest.com for Southwest Airlines $39 to $149 internet specials to 60 destinations coast to coast. Purchased by October 31st.
You are now free to move about the country.
Dad.
Hey, buddy.
Could you read me a story? Football.
That's okay. I can freeze time.
Whoa.
The DirecTV DVR, the most magical thing that ever happened to TV. Finally, an easy-to-use DVR that gives you the power to pause and rewind live TV, so you'll never miss a second of what's important to you.
Somebody up there loves you. DirecTV.
Sign up and get a DirecTV DVR free. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
This bolt is 4.5 inches long, made of hardened alloy steel. 6 of them connect the cargo box of the Ford F-150 to its frame. Why do we do this when others don't? Because we're building the strongest, most innovative full-size pickup. You can be sure of that. We are.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
An exciting day to be a Redskins fan.
Yeah, great day to be a Redskins fan.
An exciting day if you are LaVar Arrington. Back on the field, made a couple of big plays in the first half. Alex Smith and the 49ers back to work, and the play is blown dead.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, first down.
We'll go back and take a look at the end of that play where Chris Cooley got tied up by his feet. John Jansen coming over trying to lift his spirits, and Mark Brunell is having a little bit of fun of that. Football is a hard sport, and you know, sometimes you have to be the butt of other people's jokes and provide a little comic relief.
I'm sure that'll be run 2 or 3 times in the meeting rooms, huh, Darryl?
And the tackle goes to nobody.
Tackle goes to the turf monster. From the 19, following the penalty, Kevin Barlow out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Let me ask you, Darryl, about Troy Aikman's rookie season and some of the similarities perhaps or differences that you felt in talking with Alex Smith yesterday when you think about Troy's early days.
Well, Troy was going to come in and he was going to have the opportunity to be on the side. That was the original plan, but Danny White decided to retire right before we went into training camp. So he was going to start the season as the #1 pick of the draft and in a franchise that was in a transitional period, very similar to what San Francisco is. And you know, a lot of people forget that Troy didn't win a game his rookie year. You know, we finished 1-15, but you know, Troy didn't have that win. He was out 6 weeks with a broken finger. So, you know, everybody worries about, you know, how is the guy going to respond, you know, with a situation like that his rookie year. Well, if you have to worry about how he's going to respond, then you drafted the wrong guy. And, you know, you saw a lot of confidence from Alex Smith. And I think the big thing was, you know, we showed his record in high school, his record in college. But, you know, you go from being, you know, lightly recruited as a high school guy to the #1 pick of the NFL draft. He's getting better and better at every stage of his life and from year to year. So I think it's important for him to be on the field. He's going to have days like these, but he's going to learn valuable lessons.
Smith on 3rd and 5, and he fires it for a first down, but there is a flag. Brandon Lloyd made the catch in between 2 Redskin defenders at the 35-yard line.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So it's coming back, and it was interesting to hear Alex Smith yesterday. He told us how exciting it is every time he goes out onto the field, and he feels one of the reasons why is because his parents did not allow him to play until high school.
Yeah, that was the amazing part. He's a freshman in high school when he finally gets the opportunity to go out and, you know, try out for the football team. His dad was pushing him towards cross country. Mike Nolan said he's a gym rat, and you can see that you know, he's going to have to work to keep his frame up. You know, he's a lean guy.
3rd down and 10. Intercepted. Pass intended for Brandon Lloyd, and it's taken all the way back inside the 5-yard line by Sean Taylor. A 32-yard return. Taylor shaken up. First interception of the season.
Well, there's a little bit of pressure right there. Sean Taylor cuts underneath the route. The reason that ball was thrown to that spot was because of the pressure in the pocket. And you're starting to see why. You know, we talked about Washington having not forced turnovers since week 1. And a lot of that has to do with not being able to get pressure on the quarterback. And right there, they were able to not allow Alex Smith to get enough on that ball. Sean Taylor undercuts it, takes it all the way down inside the 5.
Yeah, he was moving real slow on the sideline right now. We'll probably get to that in a minute, but he looks pretty banged up there on the sideline, Moose.
Only the 2nd Redskins interception of the season. Portis down to the 1. And a penalty marker.
This is a huge penalty. If this is holding on the Washington Redskins, you go from 1st and goal inside the 5. John Jansen's pointing like it's on San Francisco.
Holding, defense, number 91. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
That's on the nose tackle, Anthony Adams.
Tony, the floor is yours.
I don't want to talk about it. You know, I was right here behind about 10 yards, and he just pulled him right down to the ground. And you know, you got to know that the umpire is standing right behind him, and you can't make it that blatant and just pull the guy down. You got to sort of latch on and either fall in his path or something to tie him up so he can't get to the 2nd level. But that was a little too blatant even for me.
So defensive linemen can't count, and they have a tendency to cheat.
This thing happens very rarely, but it does happen.
1st and goal from the 1 following the penalty. Portis, touchdown, his 3rd of the game.
Well, everybody says they always come in bunches, and Clinton Portis has been shut out all season long. He's got 3 touchdowns today. The Washington Redskins hadn't forced a turnover since week 1. They've caused 2 today. But this is going to be big for the Redskins offense. And again, you know, there's 45, Mike Sellers out there leading the way in. But on the goal line, you got to make an unblocked defender miss, and that's exactly what Clinton Portis did on the outside.
Redskins capitalize for the 2nd time off a turnover. It's now 42-7.
When we built the new Explorer, we gave it innovations like a more powerful engine that uses less fuel. Then, we set out to break the sound barrier. The 2006 Explorer, the most powerful one yet. As quiet as a luxury car. The best Explorer ever.
Ford product engineers work hard. Anybody can see that. Since they need to be with the cars, we took out their desk phones and extended the workplace with Sprint Business. It's helping us shorten the time from concept to showroom, and it's easy to reach them. Dan?
Dan's gonna have to call you back.
By saying yes to working from anywhere, we're building more new products faster.
With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Yes, you can.
Lord Vader.
Yes, Master.
Right.
Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, arrives on DVD. Bring home the biggest movie of the year and let the fun begin. With over 6 hours of bonus features.
The Jedi are no more.
The saga is now complete. Buy Star Wars Episode 3 on DVD November 1st.
Vote now at NFL.com for this year's Pro Bowl team and help decide who'll be playing in Hawaii. Plus a chance to win a trip to the game in the 2006 NFL Pro Bowl sweepstakes at NFL.com.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Own it on DVD November 1st.
The Redskins have scored 6 touchdowns today. Brunell has thrown 3. And Portis has ran for 3. They now lead 42-7. Short kickoff, bounces in front of Hicks. He scoops it up and takes it out to the 28.
King is going all out, laying it on the line with BK Chicken Fries. Grab the new all-white meat 12-piece and score a free medium fries and drink. Get in the game quick. The clock is ticking on this deal.
Tie 7-7. We'll be back after the break.
Beer run. Beer run.
Oh, beer run.
Beer run.
This season, don't miss a thing from your sports or your beer. Grab a Miller Lite with more taste than Bud Light and half the carbs. Miller. Good call.
At last, you can afford the floor you've always wanted. Lowe's announces our annual Florid event. We're taking 20% off all special order rugs and wood floors, and 10% off all installed carpet. Get huge savings on Pergo and Swiftlock premium laminate flooring. Best of all, we guarantee installation on selected flooring. We'll even meet or beat any retailer's total install price. But hurry, Lowe's special Florid event won't last forever.
Clean up on aisle 3.
House is TV's unlikeliest new hero.
Can't we just agree that you're incredibly annoying?
He's medicine's most brilliant mind.
Get the crash cart. He's having a cardiac arrest.
And the hospital's toughest case.
Are you being intentionally dense?
Huh? House returns with all new episodes Tuesday, November 1st on Fox. Viewer discretion advised.
November 2nd.
There's a stripper in the kitchen!
That 70 show returns Fox Wednesdays.
Mike McCarthy, the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Here's the learning process. First, you've got to learn the X's and O's in the classroom. Then you got to take that out. You've got to see it moving slowly in a walkthrough. Then you start to work on it at practice speed. But there is no substitution for what happens on Sundays in the NFL. Game speed is game speed. And you're going to have days like this. And Mike Nolan knows that when he made the decision to trade Tim Rattay to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and go with Alex Smith as his starting quarterback, he had to know that there were going to come times when he was going to have an afternoon go the way it has gone for the Niners today.
Niners start from their own 28-yard line. Smith out of the shotgun and some trickery, and it does not work. The handoff in the backfield to the wide receiver, Rasheed Marshall.
Well, there is the athleticism again of LaVar Arrington. You know, watch what he does when the blocker comes his way. Makes that guy miss, gets underneath the center, but then he's got the burst to get back up the field. I mean, this is a very athletic play.
You know, I've been watching the 49ers offensive line because it seemed like the defense of Washington Redskins were having a key. If you watch Brian Newberry, the center, he looks back at Alex Smith, and when his head comes up, everybody's moving. I think that's the key that the defense is really keen on, and that's why they're getting a good jump off the ball.
Play blown dead prior to the snap. The play clock Right all the way down.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, Tony, the big thing is there should be no reason under center for you to have to look back. I don't know what Jeremy Newberry's looking for right there when he's under center. Now, I've seen people do it in shotgun. Yeah, and you're exactly right. As soon as his head comes up, the ball is going. So the Washington Redskins have a huge snap key right now.
You don't want to give them any advantage possible. They're coming off the ball. They're teeing off pretty well right now.
I'm still trying to figure out why he's looking down when he's under center.
Second and long, here's Barlow. Down again, it's Arrington. Question for you, Tony. With all the big plays we've seen Arrington make today, Redskins fans and viewers of this game may wonder, Redskins have lost the last 2 games. Arrington did not play. Was it a mistake?
No, I don't think. Not at all. Not for the long run. When you have a guy like Greg Blosh, Greg Williams, these guys believe in treating every player the same and not going and just because you're a great player or been to a Pro Bowl, you get any special treatment. And I'm sure Dow will say that also. When you have a defense that's so, by the book and you all have responsibilities, you have to treat everybody the same way. Until he came on board and did the right things and acted like a pro, this is what's going to happen. He's going to have opportunities, but he had to become a pro first before they would put him on the field.
And Greg Blosh, the defensive coordinator, told us on Friday, as we look at Greg Williams, the assistant head coach, playing time is an earned privilege. And LaVar this week had a great week of practice, a great week of meetings.
Well, let's not forget players are smart guys. You've got to have one set of rules, and the players know when the coaches aren't doing that. The coaches have to be accountable to the players, too.
James Thrash finally taken out of bounds as he crosses the 40. A 19-yard return, 52-yard punt. We'll be back.
If you could build your own SUV, you'd include innovations that make it safer for everyone, that make it as quiet and comfortable as a luxury car, that make it more powerful, but use less fuel. Build the 2006 Explorer, the best Explorer ever.
Excuse me.
Ooh, thank you. Everyone wants the new fresh toasted chicken Parmesan sandwich, zesty marinara, melted cheese, only at Subway restaurants.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new 2006 Ford Explorer, the best Explorer ever. By Subway restaurants and the American Red Cross. Together we can help. By MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Lipitor. Ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
Redskins safety Sean Taylor injured moments ago during his interception return, which led to the last Redskins touchdown.
Yeah, he hurt that when he got the interception. Then he came out and he got rolled up on it again on that last play down the field to Brandon Lloyd. So at 42-7, you got to start wondering when some of these guys are going to take their helmets off and get on the sideline for the rest of the afternoon.
Here's Portis out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 3.
Because I know that guy is not 100%. And this is a perfect opportunity to get him on the sideline and get him already started mending in recovering for the practice week this week.
3 touchdowns today for Portis. One scored 5 touchdowns in a game for Denver against Kansas City. 3 touchdown passes and a near perfect passer rating for Brunell today. 2nd and 6, Portis. Into 49ers territory. He has a first down.
You know, Moose, I'm sitting here watching the San Francisco 49ers defense and knowing what they went through. You made a good point earlier that, you know, we were once 1-15. I think people sort of overlooked that when, you know, we were both unsuccessful teams and won Super Bowls, but we've both been on 1-15 teams. You in Dallas, me at the Colts. And this is something you just got to go defensively, and you can probably talk offensively. You have to go and just play one play at a time and keep going because you're really getting evaluated also by the coaches. And Mike, you know, as a defensive guy, Nolan's going to look at his defense and see who quit on him. And you know, you might not be here next year if you quit.
Yeah, just ask Jamie Winborn.
Winborn now, a Jacksonville Jaguar, as Portis takes it down to the 32-yard line. Winborn traded to Jacksonville a couple of weeks ago. He did not fit into Mike Nolan's system, and then they lost both Jeff Ulbrich and Salim Rashid to injuries, so Mike Nolan had a lot of depth at the linebacker position, but that is no longer the case.
Well, he's going to move forward, and it's a rebuilding process, and we talked about him having to start from ground zero, but he's going to make some decisions when those opportunities present themselves, and both Tim Rattay and Jamie Winborn were situations that came up, and he felt the best direction for this club going forward was the decisions that he did regarding those two players.
Here's Liddell Betts in for Portis, who went over the 100-yard mark on his last carry for the 3rd time this season, and Betts gaining 2.
Well, it's good to see Liddell in because, you know, we've talked about what the Redskins have coming up over the next 3 weeks, and Clinton Portis came into this game banged up. He's been banged up for the last couple of weeks. Get him over on the sideline, start getting him recovering for the practice week, even if he's able to get out on the field. And he has a great day this afternoon, and, you know, just over 2.5 quarters of football. And that's a testament to how his offensive line is playing. You know, they're doing a great job against this 49ers front seven.
Big game against the Giants coming up next week. 2nd and 8. Here's Betts. Turns the corner. Inside the 20. Down to the 16. Another Redskins first down.
Seems like they're solidifying in the middle of the field, the defensive linemen, but the linebackers really aren't getting to the outside, and that's where, you know, the Washington running backs keep bouncing the ball.
Yeah, and this one, Randy Thomas, he does a great job. He gets to the outside, everybody's taken, he hesitates for a second, then he sees that Liddell Betts is behind him, and he gets down into the safety level to get a block. But Randy Thomas came around the corner. There was nobody there for him to block as the puller.
Betts remains in the backfield. 2 tight ends from the 16. Betts up the middle, gains 2. As we send it to Los Angeles once again, and James Brown. JB?
Kenny and Darrell, I was kind of saying, I don't know about finding a teammate, and you're a teammate as well. But Dante trying to make sure he looks good here. Up top to Marcus Robinson, 27-yard strike. Minnesota narrowing the gap, trailing by 7 in the 3rd. I don't think Darrell Johnson would have liked the thought of being fined by a teammate. Back to Kenny Albert.
All right, thanks, JB. So the Vikings hanging in there. Remember, they beat the Packers in Green Bay in the playoffs in January. 2nd down and 8 from the 15. Liddell Betts and a penalty marker as Betts is brought down by Isaac Sopoaga.
That's impressive by Minnesota, though. You've everything that's been going on around that franchise over the last couple of weeks, and then you fall behind by 17 to Green Bay, and you've battled back to 17-10.
Holding, offense, number 61, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's on the Redskins center, Casey Robach.
He's getting back for the hold he had before, and Anthony Adams held him. I got to get one in myself.
Robach, the former Raven, who sprained his ankle in last week's game in Kansas City. 3 wide receivers, Thrash in the slot, 2nd down and 18. Cooley shifting. Wide receiver screen to Moss. He goes over 100 yards for the game. Takes it inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line.
Well, you know, the Washington Redskins run a core set of plays. You know, they're not deviating from a lot of the things they do. They window dress it a little bit different with some different formations and some different motions, but I mean, you can see we've seen that play be successful the last couple of weeks, and they've come back to it. And you know, Chris Cooley is the big guy out in front trying to get a block in the secondary to get Santana Moss open on the outside.
So Santana Moss with his 4th 100-yard game this season. 3rd down and 3. Brunell looking for Moss, incomplete. So for the first time today, the Redskins will send out their field goal unit after scoring 6 touchdowns. An opportunity for Nick Novak.
Yeah, he's only been kicking extra points and kicking off up until this point today.
He's going to be sore after this game. Get some ice for all the kicking he's done.
Well, Novak hopes to remain a Redskin. John Hall, who has now missed 5 consecutive games, is close to returning. This a 27-yard attempt by Novak. Straight through. So the Redskins have put up 45 on the 49ers late 3rd quarter.
Good improvement.
Thank you, doctor.
Cholesterol's down. Well done. Great.
Hello, doctor's office.
And I gotta tell you, nice job.
Oh, Mr. Decker?
I told you we'd get it down.
Yep, even doctors can have high cholesterol. When diet and exercise aren't enough, adding Lipitor can lower your bad cholesterol from 39 to 60%. In fact, more cardiologists surveyed said they'd prescribe Lipitor for their own family members than any other cholesterol brand. Lipitor is one of many cholesterol-lowering treatment options in addition to diet and exercise that you and your doctor can consider. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or who may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as these may be signs of a rare but serious side effect. Ask your doctor about Lipitor today.
Hey, Teddy, I hate to bother you. You sent my melon to Peyton, P-E-Y.
Groceries, $41.
That's awesome, man. Charlie!
Oil change, $25.
You're good, too. Decaf!
Lunch,
Decaf!
$12.
Great shift today, guys. Nice salad bar.
Your favorite players,
yes,
priceless.
Yes! Yes!
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
You signed the bread to my little brother. He loves you.
Family Guy may be taking a break, but Stewie's still busy perfecting his plan for total world domination.
Help! Somebody! I'm blacking out!
Family Guy. All new episodes return 2 weeks from tonight on Fox. Viewer discretion advised.
The Redskins lead is now 45-7 over the 49ers. And Darrell, it's the most points allowed by San Francisco since 1980. Bill Walsh's 2nd season as head coach.
Well, one of the things that Mike Nolan said that he wanted to assure as he went through this transitional process was to make sure he had a good locker room. And one of the reasons you need that is because of afternoons like this. And, you know, Tony mentioned the fact about being on 1 in 15 teams, and I was there, and you know, you wonder when the good things are going to start to happen, and you can't find a way to win. I mean, when we were 1 in 15, and we took the San Francisco 49ers into the 4th quarter at 14-14 and lost 31-14. We took Los Angeles deep when the Rams were a playoff team and got beat in the 4th quarter that time. So it's a tough process, and there's steps that you're going to have to go through. But the most important thing is having that strong locker room. And Mike Nolan really feels that he has those guys that he needs to be able to weather a storm like an afternoon they're having today.
And the locker room also will get fragile, you know, if they sense at all that a coach is quitting on them, and they can be reassured that Mike Nolan and his staff will not quit on this team.
Maurice Hicks on the return. He's not quitting on this kick return as he takes it out to the 36-yard line. A 24-yard return. So the 49ers offense back out. Well, Darrell, I'm excited. After a 2-week sabbatical, Prison Break returns tomorrow on Fox. A 2-hour special at 8, 7 Central. Viewer discretion is advised. I haven't had anything to do on a Monday night the last 2 weeks.
They're kind of a prison break today for the Washington Redskins.
Here's Barlow on 1st down. And it's Arrington again who makes the tackle. Alex Smith His favorite player was John Elway. Always liked number 7, but he was given 11 in college. The last 5 number 1 picks, all quarterbacks, check out their numbers.
Well, I guess if Matt Leinart goes number 1 next year, then he's obviously going to be number 12.
Yep.
Or does Reggie Bush wear 12 as a versatile player?
All I know is if I'm a quarterback or a running back in the league and I want to get drafted, I'm changing my jersey number right now.
On 2nd and 9, here's Barlow. Well, Alex started 2 games during the preseason, and then Tim Rattay took over, started the first 4 games in the regular season. And it was interesting to hear from Mike McCarthy, the offensive coordinator of the 49ers. He told us yesterday Tim Rattay would have kept the job if he played at a high level, similar to the situation in San Diego last year with Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Tim Rattay is not Drew Brees,
no.
and that situation didn't work. But I agree with what Mike Nolan did. You know, you're playing for the future of your franchise now, and hey, Peyton Manning's been outspoken about it. You know, Alex Smith feels the same way. The only way he's going to become successful is being on the field and experiencing how quickly the game can move as he learns this system.
3rd down and 8. Smith in trouble. Taken down. Back at the 25-yard line by LaVar Marshall. The 4th Redskins sack.
It's just unfortunate when you play these tough defenses, and Washington is very good. You know, they're bringing the pressure. Kevin Barlow kind of gets lost in there. He sees like 3 guys ready to blitz and just loses track of LaVar Marshall. And that's one of the things as a young quarterback, you know, when you're the number 1 guy taken, you're going to a team who finished in last place from the previous year. So, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle for you. And right now there's not a lot of guys in his supporting cast to help him out.
Penalty markers prior to the punt.
I always felt bad for the long snapper.
Why is that?
You see him in that play, he got lit up.
Neutral zone infraction. Receiving team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Sympathy for a long snapper. Yeah, even though there was a penalty on that thing, as a defensive lineman, you always light the long snapper up. You think you're going to be intimidating him, and he got lit up on that last play. I feel bad for the guy.
Oh, yeah, you never lit up a long snapper on like a punt safe or something.
No, I did. I never said I didn't, but I always felt bad for him.
Well,
felt like I should give him a Christmas card or something.
The 49ers long snapper Brian Jennings went to the Pro Bowl last year. James Thrash. Out to be 38. 12 yards on the return, 43-yard punt. Well, coming up next week, the NFL on Fox. Darryl, Tony, and I will be at the Meadowlands for the Giants and the Redskins. Some of the late games, Eagles visit Denver, and the Buccaneers travel to San Francisco. It all gets underway with the pregame show at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. 1 week from today on Fox.
You trade your starting quarterback to a team and you play him 2 weeks later.
Yep. Chris Sims now the starter in Tampa. Tim Rattay will back him up. Liddell Betts gaining 2 out to the 40-yard line with 1 minute remaining. 3rd quarter, and the Redskins leading 45-7. They've scored 6 touchdowns, a field goal, have punted only twice, and have not turned the ball over.
That is huge right there, because the last 2 games against Denver and against Kansas City, they had a lot of turnovers, and that is really, you know, we talked about the fact that veteran quarterbacks, and they were audibling at the line of scrimmage and you know, taking advantage of situations, but the turnovers, that was the difference in both of their losses.
2nd and 8 from the 40. Betts up the middle, and he is close to another first down. That should do it for the 3rd quarter of play here in Landover, Maryland. Clinton Portis, no touchdowns his last 7 games, has reached the end zone 3 times today. Touchdown runs of 5, 1, and 1 yard. 3 quarters in the books. A memorable afternoon for the Washington Redskins. They lead the San Francisco 49ers 45-7.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Sunday Ticket is brought to you by Levi's, the original. Find your style at levi.com.
No, it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Yeah. Ooh, that's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah, yeah.
I told her I was a general, and she believed it. You're so full of it, Paige.
What the? Jimmy, help Paige. Doyle, flank that position. Covering fire. Move it!
It's my job to lead these men. None of them are gonna die under my command.
Brothers in Arms, earned in blood. Rated M for mature.
I'm just so disappointed, especially after you had such a strong performance against the Colts. Willie, you've been dancing in this league 13 years, child. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what that was.
Shannon.
I agree with Debbie. This just was not Kansas City Chiefs dancing.
I kept thinking, I hope Willie Lanier isn't watching this.
Okay, thank you, Kansas City.
Tennessee Titans coming up next. Back in Landover, Maryland, you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in HD and presented by DirecTV. 49ers scored their touchdown in the first quarter. And the bad news, if you're a San Francisco fan, there it is. They have been outscored 62-0 in the fourth quarter this season.
Well, maybe it'll be 0-0 today.
Betts on 3rd and 1, and it looks like he is stopped by the 49ers defense. We mentioned, excuse me, Tony, we mentioned that this is the most points allowed by the 49ers since Bill Walsh's second year back in 1980. Darryl, that was a 59-14 Cowboys win over San Francisco down in Irving.
Mike Nolan telling us that his defense has been on the field 100 more plays than every other team in the NFL. Almost played 2 more games than everybody else this season.
Yeah, you run about 55, 60 snaps in a typical game, and they were up around 119, 120 more snaps than the next defense in the NFL. So you're exactly right, Tony. You're talking about 2 extra games, and that's, you know, Julian Peterson said, you know, we've got to get some 3 and outs on this Washington Redskins group, not only because they like to control the flow of the game and, you know, win that time of possession battle because they feel that that plays into all the other things they're trying to accomplish, but just to get their own guys off the field and get a little bit of a break. And that's why it's important, you know, going through this process with Alex Smith. He's got to generate some positive plays and let those guys rest a little bit on the sideline.
The Union's got to go and get these guys some overtime pay for them many plays. I'll tell you, I'd be an upset person.
Please reset the game clock to 14:47. 14:47 on the game clock. Thank you.
Derek Frost will punt for the 3rd time. Rasheed Marshall back deep. We talked about Marshall earlier. He was a cornerback at West Virginia, the offensive player of the year in the Big East last season. Now a wide receiver and return man in the NFL. Had trouble with that one, but able to hang on at the 18-yard line. 36-yard punt. Game 2 of the World Series coming up tonight on Fox. The Houston Astros and the Chicago White Sox, who won Game 1 last night. All gets underway at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Andy Pettit and Mark Burley, the starting pitchers. Game 2 tonight on Fox. Redskins defense, 4 sacks. A couple of takeaways today. LaVar Arrington is on the field. His most extensive playing time this season. Kevin Barlow takes it out to the 25-yard line.
But you saw the correlation right there between the sacks, the pressures on the quarterback, and the ability to generate turnovers. And the Washington Redskins defense has almost matched their season totals this afternoon. One more sack, and they've matched their season totals.
That's right. They had only 5 coming into the game.
Greg Blanche said to us that when you get them sacks, they start coming in bunches. And when you get a team like this, and all of a sudden that they're playing from behind, and they're going to throw a lot more than they're going to run. You can tee it up a little bit more as a defensive lineman and the linebacker.
Smith on 2nd down and 3. Brandon Lloyd, the intended receiver.
Well, it's going to be a tough learning process for Alex Smith as he moves forward. It's been just one of those days at the office, but Peyton Manning he was outspoken last year when Eli was kind of sat down at the bench and they put Kurt Warner in, and he really felt that the only way you learn to play this game as a quarterback is being on the field. And he was one of 2 draft picks the last few years that has gone through the entire season as the starter. Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, David Carr down in Houston, the only rookies to start all 16 games at the quarterback spot.
The toss to Gore, and he stopped about 5 yards shy of a first by Omar Stoutmire. Mike Nolan spoke with Peyton Manning during the offseason, and Peyton emphasized to Nolan how important it was that head coach Jim Mora started him right from the start during his rookie season in Indianapolis.
And you're going to have some bumps in the road, but not a real better person you can hear that information from than Peyton Manning and what happened to him his rookie year and where he's got that team right now.
End over end kick takes a Redskins bounce as Patrick Ramsey leads the Redskins offense out. They'll start at midfield.
What's going on, Daddy? Can I borrow the car?
It's a school night.
Come on, please. Yo, I promise to take my girl out here. How about now?
Surrender to the mesmerizing taste of Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. A big bacon cheeseburger made fresh, smothered in mushrooms and a creamy, dreamy cheddar cheese sauce.
It is way past your curfew.
You are grounded, young man. How about now?
Give in to Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. Do Wendy's. Do what tastes right.
Okay, Trevor, let me explain the matrix one more time. The blue yarn applies to transportation expenses. The green is office supplies, and the red is inventory.
So, how do you add up each category?
Trevor, the matrix is not perfect.
There's an easier way to track your expenses. Get the Visa Business Card. Use it for all your business needs and get one detailed statement every month.
We should never speak of this.
Visa Business. It's everywhere you want your business to be.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer, like nothing else. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. By Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. Do what tastes right. And by State Farm. Great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm.
The book is closed on Mark Brunell, who went 13 of 20, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns. Replaced by Patrick Ramsey, who started the opener against the Bears, suffered a neck injury. And Brunell has started the last 5 games. So Ramsey now in at quarterback for the Redskins, who lead 45-7. On first down, the handoff to Liddell Betts. And another good run for Betts, tripped up by Mike Adams.
Well, the situation at quarterback here for the Redskins is kind of a luxury that a lot of teams around the league would like to have. And Patrick Ramsey was one of the guys that the Jets actually contacted when they got into their situation with Chad Pennington going down and Jay Fiedler. And they also went down to Tampa Bay to see about Chris Sims. But, you see how it paid off for Tampa Bay. Brian Griese goes down. You've got a good quality backup. And, it's great to have a guy like this. Patrick was the day one starter, but because of some circumstances around him, now it's Mark Brunell's show.
There's Betts, looks to turn the corner. He does. There were reports After Brunell was announced as the starter for the Week 2 game in Dallas, that Ramsey had gone into Joe Gibbs and asked for a trade, but both Ramsey and Gibbs say that was not the case.
No, and you know, I'm a big Patrick Ramsey fan, and I talked to him before the game. He's in the right place. You know, he knows what his role is for the Washington Redskins now, and he prepares every week as the backup, knowing that he's only one snap away. And you know, you'll have to see. He's got one more year left on his contract. Will there be a move after this season? Will he play it out and be the backup? I would expect that. Gives Jason Campbell a little bit more time to learn from these two guys, and then they'll probably part ways.
I don't think being a backup quarterback either, Moose, is such an easy job. I think it's almost harder being a backup than a starter, because you never know when you're going to end. You always got to be ready. You can't be, you know, get warmed up or get into a rhythm. So it's not like his role has really totally gone away. I think it probably is more important now than ever.
Yeah, it changes because as a backup, you've got to have the ability to take mental reps, because during the week, you know, all those snaps are going to go to Mark Brunell. You know, Patrick's probably going to get 2 or 3 snaps at the end of each period. So he's got to be able to go in, watch the practice tapes, and know what he would do in those situations. And those are mental reps. And if you don't got a guy who can do that, he's not going to be prepared on Sunday if that opportunity presents itself.
From the 31 on first down, Rock Cartwright. Cartwright down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. Lions have come back and taken a lead over the Browns, with former 49er Jeff Garcia making his first start as a Detroit Lion today.
Yeah, Pittsburgh roughing up Cincinnati. There's a game right there. Philadelphia, San Diego.
Eagles at 3-2, same record as both the Redskins and the Giants, who will host Denver later today. Dallas in first place at 4-2. They will visit the Seahawks in a late game. Big hole for Ladell Betts, and he's finally taken down inside the 5-yard line by Shawntae Spencer, a 22-yard run.
It's Randy Thomas again. He's going to be your right guard and your right tackle, John Jansen. Both of these guys, but it's Randy Thomas's block right there on the outside. John Jansen. Look at the lane they create for Ladell Betts. He's into the secondary. He's 10 yards into the secondary before a San Francisco 49er defensive player is there. Watch this lane that these two guys create. There's the blocks. Good patience by Ladell Betts and letting those blocks develop and then hitting the crease.
Chris Cooley had a nice one on there too, Moose. He came around, he made that edge, made that corner so he can turn it.
Here's Cartwright, and Rock Cartwright has a touchdown.
They're just wearing those guys down, Tony. They've been on the field way too long today.
Yeah, you got to start rotating now, man. It's
they don't have any bodies to rotate. They've got too many injuries.
Let me go over there and see how much they'll pay me. Maybe I can get in there for a couple.
You ready, Tony?
No, I'm not. It was just a wishful thinking.
If you want to get a lot of money, don't ask the coaches. Ask the guys. The guys will start coughing it up. Chris Cooley, your guy, he's on the outside there, Tony. He does another good job. He and Robert Royal in combination together.
The Redskins hit 50 for the first time since the 1999 season against the Giants.
Dude, you said 2:30. I called and texted. You didn't get any of my messages? You guys are killing me. That's your network? Yes. Yes, it is. Is that your network? Yeah.
Well, this is awkward. There's only one reason to choose a wireless company. It's the network. And only Verizon Wireless is America's most reliable. Verizon Wireless, it's the network.
You're on a mission to get an amazing new TV this year, but you want to be absolutely sure you pick the right one. Circuit City makes it simple. That's because we've got thousands of online customer reviews that rate the hot new stuff, plus expert advice in our stores. And right now, get no interest till January 2007 on all TVs and home audio, $299 and up at Circuit City.
On October 23rd, Subway restaurant owners will donate a percentage of that day's sales, a minimum of $1 million, to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, because it's tough to pick up the pieces when they've all blown away.
Andre Carter is going to any lengths to try and find some answers to slow down this Washington Redskin offense today. No, I don't know what to do. We tried that. That didn't work. No, that didn't work either. Yeah, I know they got 52.
He's talking to me, Darryl. Hold on. I'm only kidding.
Did you tell him you want to suit up?
No.
Novak's kickoff taken at the 5 by Maurice Hicks. And he is brought down by a group of Redskins at the 25.
Introducing the new 2006 Cadillac DTS. With a Northstar V8 and the world's fastest reacting suspension system. Move in a new direction. The new Cadillac DTS. Breakthrough.
There's a party going on and you're wondering, what's the occasion? Monopoly is back at McDonald's, and we're the unofficial fan club. Everyone thinks I'm psychic, but since every Best Buy Champs piece is guaranteed at least 1 Best Buy buck, and you've got a 1 in 3 chance to win 3 Best Buy bucks, you don't need to have special powers. Just go to McDonald's. The more you play, the more Best Buy bucks you win, and the more awesome products you can get. Now that's a reason to celebrate. So, who's up for McDonald's?
I'm number 1. I'm number 1. No, I'm number 1. I'm number 1.
The White Sox have a 1-0 lead. Now, the Astros look to even the series. World Series Game 2 tonight on Fox.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Cadillac. Introducing the new 2006 DTS Cadillac Breakthrough.
Back in Landover, the 52 points, Darryl, scored by the Redskins matches a season high in the NFL. Green Bay scored 52 against New Orleans 2 weeks ago. One constant to those 2 games.
Both against San Francisco? You did both the games?
I was there 2 weeks ago. 52-3, Green Bay over New Orleans.
You're the problem, Kenny. You're the problem.
We're going to have some teams. Who's going to be mad next week when we come in, Coughlin or Gibbs? Get that Kenny guy out of here. Every game he goes to, there's 52.
We're not going to be able to talk to anybody next week.
Well, it would be a very long flight home for the San Francisco 49ers, as they will drop to 1-5. And we talked about Washington's upcoming schedule, which does not get any easier for the 49ers. They will host Tampa Bay and the Giants the next 2 weeks.
Well, LaVar Arrington came back to the field today, and he really did have an impact on this team. I mean, you saw the athletic ability that he possesses and the big play potential. That one right there, that was impressive. That was, to me, his best play of the day. And first time this season he's had to grab a little bit of oxygen on the sideline.
Let me tell you something. Their defense is organized as it is, and you have to be in a certain situation. As long as you take care of your job, the defense allows you to go and make big plays. You can actually run around and make some big plays. Don't think it's a robotic defense now.
A first down for the 49ers, and a couple of late flags. Billy Badgema, the rookie 7th-round draft pick out of Oklahoma State, gaining 24 yards.
It's going to be the first horse collar thing I've had this year. I haven't had one yet. They're going to call that the
personal foul. Face mask.
Oh, face
15 yards from the end of the run. Charge to number 23. First down.
That's Omar Stoutmeyer.
It was actually
they called
Pearson Prelo who got the face mask.
Referee Scott Green called the wrong number. Prelo, the former 49er. Darryl, that was the first completion of the second half for Smith and the first down for the 49ers in this half.
Number 20.
I knew it was tough, but I didn't know it was that tough.
And it gives San Francisco a first down from the Redskins 31. Here's Frank Gore. Gain of 5 down to the Washington 26. Look at Nick Clemens, who spent last year on the practice squad. There's his brother Chris playing together in the NFL for the first time. It's Nick's first game. He was inactive the first 5. Brothers who both attended the University of Georgia. Their uncle Charlie won a Super Bowl with the St. Louis Rams back in '99. Played linebacker for Dick Vermeil. Second down and 5. Here's Gore. And Gore gets a good push, close to a first down. Third-round draft pick out of Miami.
Unbelievable, the players that came out of that University of Miami there during that stretch. Frank Gore, Clinton Portis, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow Jr. It was unbelievable, the guys that they were turning out to the NFL.
Willis McGahee.
Willis, yeah, how about that? How about the running backs there?
And Gore battled his way through, tore both ACLs during his collegiate career.
That is a long road back too. That's very impressive that he finds himself playing in the NFL with two ACLs rehabs to go through.
Smith rolling right. And now he throws. Intended for Rasheed Marshall.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch this offense grow over the next couple of seasons with Alex Smith, because he provides a lot of the things necessary that Mike McCarthy needs in his quarterback to run this system effectively. They really like his mobility. I was really impressed with his poise and his demeanor when we met with him on Saturday. But what I really like about Mike McCarthy and what his philosophy for his system is it's very up-tempo. He wants to create more opportunities. And yeah, it's a tough season for him here in San Francisco. But you know, for people that aren't real familiar with Mike McCarthy, he's the guy that was the offensive coordinator most recently down in New Orleans, and took that group and really took them to the top of the NFL in some offensive production.
And you mentioned some of the quarterbacks he's worked with. Also was in Kansas City when Joe Montana was there. Spent the season up in Green Bay with Brett Favre, and he said he learned more from those guys than they learned from him.
Well, it goes back to what you're saying about Alex Smith, about learning how to play on the field. And you hear from a coach who talks about it, and he's learning more from players. And now they've got a guy like Mike Singletary. And, you know, when you're trying to get your message across to your players, I mean, what better guy than that guy right there? If you're on the defensive staff, you got a question, you can go ask Mike Singletary for the answer.
He and Mike Nolan worked together in Baltimore under Brian Billick. Play action on 3rd and 7. Smith lost the football, and then he falls on it.
And that's the second time today that the ball has just absolutely come out of the hands of Alex Smith. The first play of the game, the same thing happened. Minute just slips out. That's bizarre.
A loss of 11 on the play.
You know, things are going to happen to you when you're a rookie, Moose, but throughout the season. But a lot has happened to him today in this game.
Yep. Tony now a 47-yard field goal attempt for Joe Nedney. Nedney's kick is good. First points in the 4th quarter for the 49ers this season.
Way to look on the positive side, Kenny.
High definition TV, amazing picture quality.
Things that are good.
High-speed internet, faster downloads.
Things that are great.
Warts, satellite dishes.
Things that should be removed.
Next. A free library of on-demand movies.
Things you'd give your right arm for?
Yes. HD TV, high-speed internet,
things that are,
free on-demand movies.
Things that are Comcast.
Michael Schofield.
I didn't kill that man, Michael. Swear to me.
Breaking his brother out of prison.
Whatever it is you're doing, don't do it.
Started
Put down your weapons now!
with breaking in.
I'm getting you out of here. It's impossible. Not if you design the place, it isn't.
But Fox tomorrow.
One Burroughs is gonna die. Up to you which one.
A choice will be made. The conspiracy will close in.
Who are you people?
And someone won't get out alive. Prison Break, a special encore presentation followed by an all-new episode tomorrow on Fox. Viewer discretion advised.
$52-10. The Redskins over the 49ers. Not a happy return to Washington for Derek Smith, playing here as a 49er for the first time.
Both times to the East Coast this season, once to Philadelphia, once to Washington. Combined total of points, 94.
Wow.
So those are 2 long plane rides back to the Bay Area.
Lost to the Eagles 42-3. Rock Cartwright. Cartwright out to the 29.
Well, we've talked about Mark Brunell in his day, and you saw what Clinton Portis did, and neither one of those guys would have had the afternoon they had if not for the 5 guys up front. And the offensive line for the Washington Redskins has just done a tremendous job today. 6 yards a carry. That's incredible up here at the NFL level, and just 1 sack allowed. So hats off to the 5 big guys up front.
And Darryl, the 3 rushing touchdowns scored by Clinton Portis ties a Redskins record, set many times. Most rushing touchdowns in one game.
12 men in the huddle. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that's how they've scored 52 points today. 12 men in the huddle. Oh, it was just on that play.
Well, when you got 52 points, everybody wants in on that day. There's some of those guys we just talked about. Casey Robach, Chris Samuels, getting a little bit of a breather. Clinton Portis over there, Santana Moss.
They're having a lot of fun on the sidelines, Moose. I'm hanging out over here. They were all talking. You don't get them very often. Enjoy these. They're yelling at everybody.
Patrick Ramsey remains in at quarterback. The handoff to Rock Cartwright, and he gains 3. Ray Brown, 43-year-old offensive lineman who played 6 years in San Francisco. In fact, he went to the Pro Bowl in 2001 as a 39-year-old San Francisco 49er.
Look at the smile on his face. Oh, that's incredible. 43 years old, playing offensive line in the NFL. Great job, Ray Brown.
Oldest offensive lineman in the NFL in 84 years. His 251st career game. Having some fun against some of his former teammates. Pass caught by Brian Kozlowski, his first catch of the season, a gain of 7.
Go back and take a look at some of the Redskin touchdowns, and everybody got into it a little bit today. Mike Sellers, Clinton Portis, 3 rushing touchdowns. Santana Moss, still the big threat on the outside. And Mike Sellers showing it's not just the flat route for him. He can go down the middle and split the seam. Rock Cartwright. Everybody but Liddell Betts in the backfield getting in the end zone today.
And if I'm not mistaken, your fantasy selection during the pregame show was Santana Moss?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got over 100 yards and he got me 1 touchdown. But a couple guys out there that might have paid some bigger dividends.
Clinton Portis rushed for 101 and 3 touchdowns. Liddell Betts, 92 yards on the ground. Mark Brunell, 3 touchdown passes. Brunell this season, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Halloween coming up. What will Clinton wear to practice this week?
Yeah, I mean, with him doing that last week, I guess it's every week at his press conference, huh? He's got to have something good the week of Halloween.
He's going to be in a happy mood.
Timeout, Washington. This is their first charge timeout. This is a 30-second timeout.
Mark Brunell and the Redskins will head to the Meadowlands next Sunday, take on the Giants. Remember, baseball tonight, game 2 of the World Series from the Windy City. Chicago White Sox won game 1 last night. It all gets underway tonight on Fox, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Andy Pettit will pitch in his 7th World Series. Went to 6 as a New York Yankee, winning 4 rings. Mark Burley makes his World Series debut for the White Sox. Terrific kick by Frost. Marshall on the return. Out to the 28. Corey Campbell made the tackle on special teams. 48-yard punt, 12 on the return.
Take a look at both of the schedules of each of these teams coming up, and you see there for the Washington Redskins why this was a critical game. The Giants, the Eagles, divisional games, then at Tampa Bay, Oakland, San Diego. The Oakland Raiders, you know, they're 1-4, but you know, you're waiting for that team to gel together. The Bay Area is having a tough time right now with their football teams, and you look over at the 49ers, not much easier there. Tampa Bay, New York, at Chicago. So plenty of time for Alex Smith to learn on the fly against some good defenses.
Smith hands it off to Frank Gore. Look at Gore go down the sideline.
Look at Nick Clemens go.
And Gore takes it all the way, 72 yards for the touchdown.
Gore had some speed there, huh, Moose?
You know what? Nick Clemens chasing him down was even more impressive. 21. Frank Gore gets into the right side. And when you're an assignment-based defense and you get out of your lane, the ball will find its way back. And Frank Gore, that play was designed to go to the right. The reason Nick Clemens was running so hard downfield is I think the play broke back into his gap where he was supposed to be.
First touchdown in the NFL for Frank Gore, and the biggest moment in the D.C. area for a Gore in many years.
I'm not touching that one.
Joe Nedney for the point after. It is good. So the 49ers, who had been outscored 62-0 in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Redskins 10-0 in the fourth.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new Sprint, the official telecommunications service sponsor of the NFL.
While serving up chops and pounds of bologna, I get my NFL stats on my cellular phony.
The ends are in motion, the offense is shifting. I've been here so long, they think I'm shoplifting.
My wife can't believe I went to the store, but with NFL on Sprint, I won't miss a score.
Like a 3-wheeled grocery cart.
Or a receiverless throw.
An aisle 9 without football?
Is not one I like to know.
Exclusive NFL programs, only from the new Sprint.
Some beers are big on flavor. Some beers are easy to drink. But until now, no beer has offered it all. Budweiser Select starts with hand-picked American and Bavarian hops. Budweiser Select is brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. With Budweiser Select, it all comes together. Expect everything.
Introducing the new 2006 Cadillac DTS. With a Northstar V8 and the world's fastest reacting suspension system. Move in a new direction. The new Cadillac DTS. Breakthrough.
A 72-yard touchdown run by 49ers rookie Frank Gore.
Good speed down the sideline. Something positive on the plane ride. As you pointed out, 10-0 in the foot. They cured one of those problems.
They have scored the last 10 points after falling behind 52-7.
Oh, Greg Williams is going to be so upset with that long touchdown run.
That's for sure.
Yeah, he does not want to let up any run over 20,
No.
he said to us. And that was one of the goals as a team. And to have it with 2 minutes and a couple seconds left, he's not going to be happy.
And that will not help the average for the Redskins run defense. Ron Cartwright. Cartwright out to the 34-yard line.
Go back and take a look. Here's Nick Clemens right here, and he was hustling down the field, but here's why. He's the right defensive end. Watch where this play breaks back to and where he's going. He's running over to the right side. Leaves his responsibility, and oh, look at that. The ball found its way back to the lane that was vacated. And here he comes, number 90. If I can make the tackle, maybe I won't get yelled at. If I can make the tackle, he won't yell at me. No,
Run! Run! Nick's still talking about it.
I'm telling you, he was going right.
Right here. Hey. That's on his mind right now.
Under 2 minutes to play. We check in again with James Brown.
All right, Kenny and Darryl, take a look here. Indianapolis now 7-0 for the first time in franchise history. Patented duo, Manning to Harrison there. 38-20, they beat up on Houston. And the Vikings, 20 unanswered points. Dante Culpepper here to Moraldi Moore for the score. They are now on top 2017. Time permitting, we will take it to the conclusion of that game between Green Bay and Minnesota. Let's take you back now to Kenny and Darryl.
Hey, JB, what a great job by the Vikings digging themselves out of that hole with everything that's been going on in Minnesota. That is a gut check, impressive effort by that bunch.
Big comeback by the Vikings. And for Joe Gibbs, this will be the 150th victory of his illustrious coaching career, including postseason. Only Marty Schottenheimer and Bill Parcells have won more games among active coaches than Joe Gibbs. Great job by our entire crew today. Producer Bob Stenner, Director Sandy Grossman, our Associate Director Charles McDonald, Sideline Producer Robert Slosby, Broadcast Associates Wayne Wilson and Corey Brocious, Technical Producer Bob Muller. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to our stats crew, Eric Merlis, Ben Boma, Mike Eldridge, Bill Ochepka, and Joe Band, and our stage manager, David Duvall. Big day for the Washington Redskins. Now 4-2. The 49ers drop to 1-5. Their 5th consecutive loss, career win number 150 for Joe Gibbs. Darryl, Tony, and I will return right after these messages.
McNabb and the Eagles, Plummer and the Broncos. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader next week in HD. See the game that you missed.
Here we go, pound the rock, 60 minutes.
NFL Network is proud to present an encore of Friday's Chiefs-Dolphins AFC matchup tonight at 8.